Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Been waiting so patient, I'm going places, can't fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking through my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it go, way it go. Either way it goes, I cannot turn cold, staying on the low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn their back. Acting like the amigos, they never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always come to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal. Releasing all the pain that I always held. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul to keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes.
Okay, okay. And I'm here tonight. Let's do a sound check. Make sure you can hear me. Just a moment. Let's see what we got here. All right, sounding good? Well, welcome everyone. Tonight's Friday night show. It's a little different than usual, and we'll see how it goes. I don't anticipate it's going to go so great, but it's called Let's Talk About It. Okay, let's talk about it. I want phone calls. And by that, I mean call in show. So I put a link down there for the StreamYard. Matter of fact, I'm going to drop it again and pin it. Deb, if you don't mind, you might have to, I have to pin this one. So you might have to drop the link tree every 30 minutes or something, Deb. But thank you very much for helping me out, Deb. Anyway, I want to say hello to everyone who's here. And I thought I'd like to let you know what I'm interested in doing tonight. So, it's really weird here. It's really weird here. And it's funny because it's always as if we're spinning in circles, circle. I mean, it's like an Ouroboros type of situation, chasing your tail, whatever you want to call it. And it's akin to kind of beating your head against the wall. You know what I mean? Like we're dealing with so much here in the Delphi murders. It's really appalling. And if I were to sit down and try to explain it to someone, it's kind of like you don't know where to start. And just like that, I don't know where to start because man, this is a shit show. It's a total shit show. And you know, I guess that's a place to start is that it's intentionally a shit show. You got to think what the state has done here. Okay, what the state has done here since day one. Basically, a bunch of people came together and conspired to cover up a double homicide. Okay, so a bunch of local law enforcement with the family and all of these people in the early days, they came together to cover up this double homicide. And when you look at the crime scene and see what they were dealing with or what we are dealing with, and you try to put that together, a lot of people don't understand, but I'm a mathematician of sorts. But I don't really talk about that at all on the internet. But being that that's how my brain works in formulas and in deduction or reverse engineering. So I look at this and I think, wow, just imagine you got that crime scene. And the result of that crime scene is you have a bunch of people come together locally to cover it up, which must mean that they know how that crime scene came about, right? Okay. So that's like first base. That's first base. That's where the whole thing starts, the Delphi murders. And on top of that, you've got all of this social media digital content that was produced immediately to aid in the cover up of these murders. And by that, I mean everything on the victim's phone. I mean everything on the witnesses' phones. And I mean everything that was screenshot off the internet and used as evidence in this case, in this trial against Richard Allen. That's right. So think about this. You've got that crime scene. You got a bunch of people come together and decide to cover that up, how that came about. And then they immediately produce a large volume of artificial digital artifacts or information or evidence to accompany the cover up. And somehow that was allowed to make it all the way into trial. We got this video off the victim's phone, which clearly looks like it was produced by NASA and Disney. It's definitely high definition. There's no way on earth that it's a real video off the victim's phone from the day of their murders. It's too high quality. It's enhanced. It's fabricated. And you start to look at frames of that and you start to notice, wow, interesting that there's no shadow on Bridge Guy, right? There's a shadow that's being cast by Abby. No shadow on the Bridge Guy. There's all these anomalies in the audio. And you look at that photo of Abby on the bridge, the shadows are off. Everything about that is off. And then you look at the photos of them in the car, and one in particular, they look destitute. I mean, I don't even know the word for those girls. They look under duress in that photo in the car. So you got all of that, right? And then on top of that, you've got the fact that this case is planted out of the ass. So you've got all of these people on the internet from day one who are here to aid in the cover up. Okay, so that's some groundwork. A large part of the group are who you called creators or YouTubers, Delphi YouTubers. They were part of the cover up from day one. They still are. They still are. They are still around. I mean, the ones who are still alive, they're still around doing the same shit. And many of them, though, they use their own accounts to do it, but then they also do something that I've tried to convey to you so many times, which is astroturfing. So they pretend to be other people behind fake accounts to validate their own opinions. They have conversations with themselves, they promote themselves, and all of this, that, and the other. And then there's all this drama. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. All this drama. That's a result of the trolling. And when I first came around here, we talked a lot about the troll farm. The troll farm are largely the local CIs and meth heads and chomos who are here to toe the state's line very obviously. And we've been fighting that for years, and they're still out there doing their thing. They are the ones who still go out there and say things like no, 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 you hear the girl say that be a gun. That be a gun. You can clearly hear on that video that someone says that be a gun. Libby says that be a gun. A gun is referenced, which clearly to anyone with common sense, all you have to do is put on some earbuds or some studio monitors or a nice sound system or whatever you call it, whatever you use to hear best. And it's very apparent that no one on the video says that be a gun. But you got idiots out here still saying that. And you got this one douchebag idiot right now. He produced some videos because he's scared as shit right now over the possibility that this appeal will be successful. And he tried to say, oh, Richard Allen had CSAM. Richard Allen was involved in CSAM. He had CSAM on his phone and everything and on his devices. And, they just didn't bring it into the trial because this was not a CSAM case. Really? Really? That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so that's your take. Richard Allen was in the CSAM, and there's proof of it in the digital forensics. But they chose, for whatever reason, that they're not going to add those charges, or they're not going to charge him separately for CSAM, for possession of CSAM. Yeah, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then something I've been fighting for the past 2 years, and this has been the most aggravating part of it, are the fucking cranks. Okay? The fucking cranks. Because part of what I wanted to say is you got these chaos agents, as part of both of these groups, so the whole sphere. They're chaos agents out here. They're solely here to keep the chaos and shit stirred because that's distraction. Chaos equals distraction. And so many people out here, these YouTubers, these trolls, these cranks, they're out here just to be chaos agents, to keep shit chaotic so that you remain distracted and we remain distracted. And the whole time we're out here just wanting to point to the truth. And that's the funniest thing with these fucking cranks, right? Funniest thing, because observe this about the cranks. Why can they never admit the truth? Why does everything they do have to be totally and absolutely deceptive? For instance, Michael Osbrook has leaked almost all of the discovery that's been leaked. Okay, Michael Osbrook. But you notice he doesn't have the backbone to do it on his own YouTube channel officially. He has consistently used useful idiots to do it on his behalf, where he gets the leak, he hands it over to a stupid ass YouTuber who then leaks it for him publicly, because he doesn't have the balls or the backbone or the integrity to leak it himself on his own YouTube channel. And it's like this across the board. And you got someone like me. When I started noticing this over a year ago, and I only asked that they tell you the truth about it, suddenly attacks. I have become the victim of relentless and constant attacks on a daily basis. Basically, since the first month I was here. And the very moment that I attempted to hold the cranks accountable for this deceptive, lying bullshit, they directed those attacks against me. Notice, you never saw me attack a single fucking crank until they decided to lie to the entire community. And when I tried to hold them accountable for that and say, don't lie to the community, this is important, this is about the murder of 2 little girls, suddenly I'm public enemy number 1. And anyone else who tells the truth about their fuckery. So, kind of funny, right? And then what they don't tell you is the cranks now have partnered for the past year with the troll farm, which is insane, because now you have the fake Richard Allen is innocent crowd partnering with the Richard Allen is a baby killer crowd. And they're in each other's discords. They're in each other's DMs. They're in each other's Instagrams and Twitters and all this shit. And they pretend like that's not happening. Oh, I should add this. They're in each other's emails. That's right. But I've decided I'm not going to call their names. I'm not going to mention any names tonight, but you'd really be surprised by who's working with who. And they lie. They all lie. They do not stop lying. And I say, just come out and say, I lied. Tell the truth. No, can't do it. And lately they've wanted to bring up the concept or the topic of these fundraisers again. The fundraisers operated by the cranks. And it's just kind of funny because both those fundraisers were basically total scams, grifts. They raised all this money, upwards of nearly $50,000. and they misappropriated most of it. That's right. So they raised this money and they used the money for purposes other than they were raised for. And you try to point that out, and they lie. They make stories up. They info dump all kind of random bullshit. But what they don't ever say is, yeah, no, we used it for this. We gave this one that much. We gave this one that much. We kept this much. We sent this one this much. We can't account for this much. Nope, can't do it. And I look back and I think, wow, I'm literally the only one who has left myself open to discussion with all of these people. I've challenged all of these people to prove me wrong with facts and receipts and a true accounting, you know, and they can't do it. You never heard them step forward. Let's bring this back to the cranks with the BG video. When did you ever hear them step forward and say, Prof was right? Prof was right. It was us. It was us. It was us. Michael Osberg got it, and he gave it to this one, and this one got it, and this one got it. And we all had this scheme where we decided we were going to leak it anonymously, and then Prof pulled the rug out from under us and called us out, and then the lawyers put us in a difficult position and didn't admit, and by the lawyers, you know who I'm talking about, all the lawyers, and but Prof's the bad guy. Prof's the bad guy for this. And I sit back and I think, wow, what is this ever doing for holding the perpetrators and the people who have pulled off this cover up? What is this doing to shine light on that? Because it's funny that they can do all of the slander, outright lies. They just say lies all the time. Lies about me, lies about my friends, lies about the case, lies about the evidence, lies about the discovery, lies about the lawyers, lies about each other, just lies, 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 right? And I look at what they're actually doing and I think, let's see, where's the holding Monica Walla, Nick McClellan, Tony Liggett, responsible for all this? Because you know what I see? I see a whole bunch of bitching about the prof and his little group of inner circle of friends. And I see no actual production of content that holds the state accountable for covering up the murders of two little girls. And then on top of that, for railroading Richard Allen in order to facilitate that cover up and bury the case. And I've left myself open. I've written articles after articles, community post after community post, live stream after live stream. I publish my email address. I have consistently for 3 years now or more put the link up like I have done tonight and said, come on and challenge me. Come and discuss with me. Come and step forward and have a good faith discussion. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's honestly and transparently sit here and have a conversation about the truth of what has transpired in front of the viewing audience. No, can't do it. But I guess it's because they know that they can't get here and lie and get away with those lies. They have to go to their own little platforms of 30 viewers or wherever it is. They have to go wherever they are able to not be challenged with the truth and held accountable. But they'll go to their little platforms and say their lies and spread lies and do their little slander defamation piece. But they won't have an open and honest, straightforward discussion in front of the viewing audience. And the funny thing is that with all of this in mind, my overall takeaway is the Delphi murders is saturated with the most disgusting, pathetic pieces of shit I've ever seen in my life. And I don't mean all of you in the chat who are viewers. I mean all of the loudest voices on this case. They're absolutely the most disgusting, slimy pieces of shit, liars, and bad faith actors that you've ever seen. I mean, the Delphi murders is basically a fucking cesspool. And who would want to be here? You know, like honestly, I don't want to be here. I haven't wanted to be here for the longest because of it. It's like I'm surrounded by festering, smelly douchebags. And I've tried to systematically, go down the list and show you and show you and show you. But I know people get tired of it. And like I said, it's not the viewers. For the most part, it's not all the viewers. It is the group of people who try to be social media voices in this case. And like I said, it's because there are a lot of things at play. It's mostly that they're here to be chaos agents. You know, they're here to steer a narrative. They're here to distract. They're here to keep people from actually uh, getting their bearings and figuring out what they're looking at, what's going on here. And it's outright just it's they're pathetic. It's plainly pathetic. And so anyway, I did have a great show lined up for you tonight, but it didn't work out for tonight. So there's a show we've been planning for 2 weeks, and it was supposed to happen tonight, but things didn't work out uh, for tonight. So I guess what we're going to do is push that to next Friday, a week from now. But in the meantime, I thought, well, I don't want to let everyone down again and not show up. So I thought, let me do a an open lines call in. I'll put the link up and see if anyone wants to take the invitation. I have a good faith discussion. Um, so we'll see. We'll see who clicks the link. And any of you in the chat, you can feel free to come talk to us. This is not just for the whack jobs. This is for any of you who actually want to stay or want to come and talk, who are just chatters who want to come and give your opinion. But uh, the floor is open to anyone. And I've done this so many times. Like I know it's been about a year maybe since I've done it, but you might remember there's been time after time after time. I could think of a good handful of times that I've done this type of scheme where I sit here, I put the link, and I wait for 2 or 3 hours, and not one person will click that link and come and be held accountable. But yeah, this is a festering case. It is just a cesspool of worms. I don't know. And I'm sure there are many reasons for it. I think you're going to have some people who were directly involved, probably. You're going to have some people who are related to those who were involved. You're going to have some people here doing the bidding of the family. You're going to have some people here doing the bidding of law enforcement. You're going to have some people in here doing the bidding of the cult. Okay. And some people here just for social media clout and that sort of thing, where those are the most useful idiots. The ones here for clout, they're basically just the useful idiots. Uh, Whoever love bombs them enough and gets their claws in them and then feeds them these little tidbits, then they'll run with that. And it's really been disappointing because the more time has gone by, the more of that has been revealed. The more time has passed with me, at least, the more it's been revealed of who will take anything you say and run with it and then go use it on their channel to get views and clicks, which is really bizarre because you would think, hmm, if you're here and you would think anyone here questioning what's really going on and trying to put some pieces together, some things together, you would think they would have some sort of meticulous integrity, fact checking, discernment skills, where they don't just take whatever is fed to them and then go and repeat it. But it's kind of that way where you got some people here who just whatever they're given, they'll go and repeat as if it's fact. And I don't know, you might know who you might not know who these people are, um, but there are some people here who you would probably call friends of mine. They will tell you themselves, some of my friends, they'll be like, Prof, don't listen. Because I'm telling you, some of the people who you would say, oh, that's one of Prof's best friends, some of the people who you've seen in this chat and associated with me, they'd be the first to tell you that we have bumped heads quite a bit, especially in the first year or so of knowing each other, because I will uh, I will push back on information. Hey, thank you, Ninja. Thank you, Ninja Warrior Assassin. Thank you. Thanks for the super chat, honey. I appreciate it. We are praying for you. But yeah, I mean, you my little inner circle will tell you I will bump heads with your ass because you can't just tell me anything or assert anything and I'm going to run with it. If you say something, if I totally disagree with it, I'll let you know. If I question it and I want to take some time and like fact check it and maybe try to see if there's some thread to pull on that where I can validate it, I'll do that. But I've been so confident in what I presented because I think that I know myself and I know how I'm so reluctant to say anything that might be debunked because I don't like to be wrong. So I don't want to put across bad information that will be proven wrong at a later time. So that's the reason, my friends. If you've ever seen me push back on you, that's the reason because I'm not just going to listen and run with it. I need to be convinced myself of what the facts are or what the substance is of any particular point so that I can determine whether it's worth uh, conveying to the audience and staking my reputation on it and trying to avoid like spreading bad information. But it's very true that you got a lot of YouTubers out here and a lot of people in general posting, and they will just post anything. They will make the boldest claims. They will spread misinformation like it's confetti. Just they'll throw it up. They'll throw it up. Um, hey, Stephen, why don't you click the link? Come join me, Stephen. Let's talk about it. Hey, thank you, Dennis. That's very generous, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dennis McKean. Dennis is a warrior. But Stephen says, good evening, Prof. May I ask what you're feeling about if this was a planned hit on Libby because of her father's nasty history? God bless all. Hey, I'd love to talk to you about it on the call in. Click the link, Stephen. But I mean, that's the difficult thing, Stephen. Like this thing that you're putting forward cannot be debunked, you know. But I also cannot definitively blah 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 blah. See, I'm holding this chocolate piece and I'm so thinking about eating it. I can't talk right, but no, Stephen, I think that this is a particular point which it has to be one of those things we keep on the back burner. You know what I'm saying, Stephen? Um, I think a question to ask regarding this is, was Derek German a CI? Is Derek German a CI? You know, because if you're going to say this is a planned hit on Libby, well, first you have to have evidence that it was a hit, which I don't know. But I think we got more evidence that he was and maybe is still potentially an informant for the local law enforcement or the state level. Okay, so let's say if Derek German's an informant for law enforcement, and if Derek German if one element of this crime, because this crime can be multifaceted, it doesn't have to just be one thing. Okay, so let's say if part of the motive of this crime was, uh, as you put it, some message being sent to Derek German or some hit or retribution, or however you want to phrase it, you know, that could be an element. It could be an element of the motive. It could be one aspect of the crime. It could be maybe particularly the reason that 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 victim was targeted. But it could also be multifaceted. So that's where people get me very wrong. They say they'll say, "Oh, well, you don't believe that. You don't believe that." No, it's not that I don't believe it. It's that it's not the whole story, because that allegation does not explain the other truths that we know. You know, so we know that Reese Davis is telling the truth about some elements. We know that Keegan Klein has told some truths about this. Okay, so how do you explain with Reese Davis, Ron Logan, and Keegan Klein? How do you explain that about Derek German? Unless it's multifaceted. So if it's multifaceted, so yeah, maybe there's several motives here and several strategies were at play that resulted in two victims being found in the woods. Because I'm still not convinced that those girls were killed at the same time and together. That's what I mean about how uh, difficult it is, the complexity of this. You can clearly look at the staged crime scene and see that those victims were treated differently, you know, but you really can't say anything about that because we don't have enough information. So if the victims were treated differently, it could be that they're two entirely different crimes and they were staged together to look like one crime, which then I could understand your theory there that that maybe one of the victims is targeted in that way and then they have to target the other victim in a different way. But then you look at the full picture. You look at, well, why has the family consistently had all of these contradictions? The family's totally uh, over the years told all of these contradicting versions of the stories and exhibit a lot of bizarre behavior. So there has to be a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. So what would be the reason that the family would exhibit those markers if it was simple? And I really recommend you guys remember that guy Sergio. Sergio did some good discussion about the various players here. Even Doug Carter, because if we want to talk about Doug Carter's bizarre behavior, because look, can we at least can everyone kind of get on the same page? I mean, hey, even the guilters. All right, guilters. Can even you agree that Doug Carter has behaved extremely bizarrely over the years? I mean, I can. Doug Carter's behaved but just as bizarrely as a family members, if not more so. And then look at the like I said, look at the prosecutor here and Jerry Holman. Look at the prosecutor and the cops, how fucking bizarrely they behaved. It's just unexplainable. The only thing I can compare it to is say it's kind of akin to the JonBenet Ramsey murder. When I look at JonBenet Ramsey, like everyone behaves so bizarrely in that one too. And then even I used to talk about the Baby Dior murder. Remember the Baby Dior murder? You look at Baby Dior. Look how bizarrely everyone acted, whether it's the sheriff, the investigators, the family. Okay, so you got Baby Dior. They acted real bizarre about that. JonBenet Ramsey. Everyone acted real fucking bizarre about. Abby and Libby. They've acted real fucking bizarre about. How do you explain these things? Because everything should be explainable. I mean, isn't that the point of real investigation? If these detectives were really doing their jobs, shouldn't all of the detectives have come together, tried to figure out this crime scene, figure out the evidence, and then figure out all the human behavior around everyone involved in this entire circle around Delphi? No, no. It's as if the investigators did no investigating whatsoever. I mean, I'd say this. I've said this from the beginning. I think that tip line was 100,000% about gathering intel to use to bury the truth. They needed that tip line to come on in, and remember, they kept that tip line going for quite a long time. I think they used that tip line to funnel in intel that they could then use to clean up and tie up all the loose ends. Flora, thank you, Ninja Warrior Assassin is mentioning Flora. Yeah, Flora. There's also been so much bizarre behavior around Flora. But something stinks here. Something stinks real bad. Real bad. And like I said, where's all the screaming and yelling on social media about how much this all stinks so badly? No, no. It's Prof, it's Christina, it's Erica. You know, we're the huge problem here. The ones asking the questions and pointing out the obvious. So the StreamYard link is tagged or pinned at the top of the chat or the bottom, depending on your platform. The link is in the chat. Click the link, especially if you think I'm so wrong. Um, Now I see we got two in the backstage. Hoosier Daddy's back there. Hold on, Hoosier. Someone else just popped back here who I don't know who it is. So let me lay down the ground rules. Good faith discussion or no discussion. Okay. So let's see who's here. And then I know Hoosier's back there. We're gonna let's hear. Yeah, I would love to hear opposing opinions too in a calm and good faith discussion. So hold on, Hoosier Daddy, please, and let's see who's here. See if I can hear. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, who's that? We hear
I'm
you
just going by disenfranchised.
disenfranchised, hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Yeah, so sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
How are you? Don't be nervous. Welcome in. I just like to know what you have to say, and hopefully
I
it's
don't know, I
nice.
just wanted to join the conversation.
Okay, great.
So I think when you were mentioning Reese Davis, to me, it's just kind of hard to believe everything he says because I was there for the big Reese Davis interview.
Okay. Well, what is unbelievable to you about Reese Davis?
Not really what he says. It's just how his story has kind of evolved over time. Like I know he's talked to other creators before that interview. Um, it just seems like more and more and more has been added.
Okay. Let me ask you some questions. Do you think that anything has changed where he's proven himself or contradicted himself?
Um, Not really. It's just that, like I said, more details have come, and I feel like maybe he's just taken some of what he's heard, he's tried to incorporate it into what he was told. You know what I mean?
Okay. And is that it? Oh, you're muted, but oh well she dropped out or left, but okay, let me explain my take on that. Um Reese Davis was instructed on what not to say earlier on. And Reese Davis gradually decided he's not going to limit himself as much as he first was. which is a problem with people trying to be experts on this. Now, I've personally spoken with Reese Davis tons of times. And the sad thing about Reese Davis right now, there's still things he hasn't said publicly because he was asked not to. The reason he's respecting that is because at this point in time, he was asked by Andy Baldwin not to reveal certain things that might put another trial for old Richard Allen in a more precarious position. So I think you have to, the way I would look at Reese Davis is he has told more as time has passed. Disenfranchised. Yeah, you're welcome to come back in. There's a way to see the chat in StreamYard if you swipe left, I believe. You'll figure it out when you come back in if you do. But it's difficult with Reese Davis because you also have to understand there's been an extreme effort by the prosecution or the state to discredit him and put out these talking points along the lines of what you're saying, that he's lying, that he's not credible, that he's a drug dealer in a school zone, and all the things they say, that he failed his polygraph miserably. So they continuously have put across this discrediting campaign on Reese Davis. But one thing about Reese is, at least for me, his story never changed at all. And something not well known about Reese Davis is that this is all documented. So Reese documented all of this. When he's talking, he's not the best talker. And at times there are things that are in his notes or in his documentation that he might have to go back and dig back up, because you could imagine if you're having 50 conversations over the course of years with people, trying to go back and get everything perfect in a single telling is challenging, to say the least. But I'll leave that disenfranchised until you show back up, and I'd be happy to talk more about that with you. I don't want to have a monologue here. Okay, I see two more people in the chat. I mean, in the backstage. So let me allow Hooser to come on for a moment. And Hooser, we got someone else too. So let's see what Hooser has to say. Let's see. Hey, what's up, Hooser Daddy?
Hey, Prof, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Yeah, and I didn't want to stay on too long anyway, and you just brought up Reese Davis, which his attorneys are going to instruct him, like you said, on what not to say. That protects him in his case, and I know people get impatient about what they want to hear or wanting to hear something more, but that's not. Like we've discussed before with the whole case, you can't let all the information out in a case like this or many others, because that can ruin it for the defense. So
yeah, my take, Hooser, is once Richard Allen is totally done with this process, whether it's another trial, whether it's post-conviction relief, whatever happens in the ongoing case of Richard Allen, once that's completely played out, I think then you can there's a lot that can be dumped, but I think that it's sort of walking a fine line until that point in respecting Richard Allen's process, especially if you believe that Richard Allen is railroaded or innocent. You have to look forward to his future and to say, well, there are things with Richard Allen that his lawyers will have to strategically play out over time. And if they're requesting caution in certain areas, then you just respect that in a way. That's been my whole take. My whole thing this entire time with certain leaks has been, you know, let's respect the process now, knowing that there will come a time where it doesn't put Richard at more risk than he already is.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're saying, because um, that's the one case that we need to protect is Allen's case. And like you were saying, if too much information comes out or leaks or whatever, that could ruin whatever case with the appellate or whoever that he's got going. And you're exactly right. That's the main focus on, only so much Risa can say or anybody can say. But once Allen's process goes all the way through, whether it's good or bad, then, everything can come out.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, I believe most has come out because so much has been leaked that there's not much left. But still,
It still doesn't lead us to the point of the murder or the murderers.
I don't think any of this really will. I mean, I'm looking more towards damage control. So if there are tidbits that get leaked out, that the people who have the ability to bury those tidbits would become aware of, then that would be putting that evidence at risk. Because if there's evidentiary elements that are leaked out, and then the state actors go, and by that I mean the cops, McClelland, or anybody, killers, if they go and then they sanitize what's at play, well, then you've just destroyed a potential piece of helpful evidence in the future. So I'm looking at
Yes.
the situation like, hey, man, I don't want to give Nick McClelland or Jerry Holman another tidbit to go destroy, delete, disappear, or however you want to put it.
Yeah. Can you imagine all the people possibly not directly involved, but involved in ways that, a lot of these people are acquaintances or related or whatever, and that all these people know what happened. And to cover that up within that town, that's monumental in respect.
Yeah, and look what's already been destroyed. I mean, think of all of the destroyed information, even what was not discovery. I think there's so much that was never even handed
Right.
over to the defense. There's so much
Right.
that the defense never even got their hands on because that was destroyed before it's given or it's just withheld.
Yeah. And you're right there. And we might not know what a lot of that is. And which brings me to the evidence, supposed evidence that was put forward, the shell, the white van, the bridge guy video, all this stuff it's speculatory, which leads to reasonable doubt. And boy, the jury, and they all just got them to ride along with it and convict that guy.
Yeah, what's so odd to me is how they convicted Richard Allen on the most like elementary version of this story. If you think of the kindergarten version of this story going back to 2017, 18, I kind of mean like the Gray Hughes speculating of a lone wolf bridge guy. If you just go back in time to like the most basic fantasy world story of this murder, that's literally what it seems like was presented to the jury in this trial of Richard Allen.
Right.
And it's mind-blowing that such a simple elementary version of this story was able to convince a jury, because it was so limited, and it was presented in such a limited way, and everything was directed strictly at Rick Allen, and then you come away with, wow, they didn't get any of the story. That's what old Vinnie Politan was saying on his recent episode. He's saying like the jury didn't see all the evidence, and
Right.
not just all. I mean, the jury only saw like the smallest version, this tunnel vision, this really narrow version that pointed right at Richard Allen. And
yeah, and I felt bad for the defense in that respect. And like you said, they just made it out to be a lone wolf killer, and it was so simple. And you can talk about Occam's razor, but I don't think this case was like a lone wolf guy and Richard Allen, and it was just he popped in and out of there because he was frustrated that day, or he'd been drinking, or I don't buy none of that. And but like Reese Davis was saying, and other theories that we've had, I think it's more than just a lone wolf killing by Allen.
yeah, what I was just thinking as you were speaking is, imagine that the jury convicted Richard Allen even after having seen the crime scene. That really disturbs me, how they could see that crime scene and
And
not.
as a former juror, and just somebody with common sense, I wouldn't be buying into any of that. They would probably be throwing me out. I'd be the last juror standing that I'm not going to convict this guy on this, And I know there was things in there that we didn't see, and only heard of, but I don't. I think as a person, a human being, an individual, and a juror, just I wouldn't have bought into that. There wouldn't have been no way.
Yeah, what's funny to me, it seems like there were a few, from what we were told, who weren't buying it.
Okay,
And
that's what I heard. Yeah.
yeah, and then suddenly somehow the last day, in the last mile, they all turn around and they go with it. And
It's like they probably gave him some kind of ultimatum. Like I think through this whole case, Prop, a lot of people were just told to stand down, whether it's through the family, Doug Carter, McClelland, Gold, the Fed, whoever, all the higher ups. Somebody was up at the top saying, "No, we got to stand down on this,
mm-hmm.
and this is the way we're going to do this case." Which, like you said, that tip line, they was just looking for the scapegoat at a certain point, and they found it.
Yeah, I even had someone say to me, and someone that I like, but someone said to me, regarding Jerry Holman, and then they were like, well, some people have different ways of doing their job, and that's just his way of doing his job. And I think that's making excuses,
Well, and
yeah, that's putting it lightly.
It is, because the way he handled the thing was you got to have a better excuse than to say, well, that's the way he does his job. Well, that's unprofessional, to say the
It,
least.
it's like wishful thinking. I think like they want. I think you got a large contingent of people out here that want to believe the cops, basically. And I'm that kind of person in general. I typically I don't think all law enforcement is bad, but I
And
think
sure, yeah.
you got your rotten eggs or whatever, your
Well,
rotten apples.
I know, I've worked with law enforcement on cases, and there has been a couple bad apples in my town.
Hmm.
But for the most part, I'm like you. You want to believe that there is enough good ones out there to overshadow the bad ones, and hopefully justice prevails.
Yeah, and I know in this case though that there are a lot of. I mean, I'll put it this way: you got FBI, ISP, and some local cops from Carroll County. All three of those agencies, and those were all the agencies involved in this. You have individuals from those agencies who don't agree with this. Like they will clearly say, this isn't right, that this is wrong, and this. But it's as if the ones who had the power to pull it off, they pulled it off, and then the ones who object to it, they seem powerless to do
Yeah,
anything about it.
right. They were told to stand down. The people higher up than you are controlling this, and you're gonna stand down and do things this way, and you will be rewarded
Hmm.
or blackmailed. I've seen enough in life and watched films of this type and books to know that the world can be a shady place in these in this type of world, and people do get blackmailed and paid off and bought off to keep people out of prison or jail or whatever the case may be. It happens more than a lot of people know, and I'm sure you realize it. You've touched on it so
Yeah,
many times.
and it's not just cops. They're even in the recently we just saw this EMT was arrested. I had a bad experience with an EMT 10, 15 years ago. And so that it's funny because it's going to be everywhere. Like you're going to have bad firemen, you're going to have bad EMTs, you're going to have bad cops. It's just the way it is. And hopefully they're all flushed out of the system, but I don't know. I think whatever happened here, to me, how, because people always raise that objection who believe the cops and in Rick Allen's guilt, they'll always say, do you realize what it would take? How many people would have to be in on it? And it's kind of like, yeah, well, I do. It's unbelievable that they could pull this off in a small area like Delphi or Carroll
Right.
County. How could they pull this off? Because it would take a bunch of people looking the other way and then working together or agreeing to look the other way or go with a lie or say, yeah, I did
Right.
that when they didn't. I don't know.
I've never seen pretty much anything like this, Prof. And I've seen a lot and studied a lot of cases.
Hmm.
You know, um, I'm not a professional or an expert, or and I've worked in a professional manner with some of these things and learned from actual professionals, but I've never seen anything like this case. The possible corruption that could be involved, not just really the murders, but possibly the corruption involved in the cover up of the murder.
Hmm. Well, we just got these cops, the one I did the last show on, which was that New Chicago police chief, to see what he was involved in, possibly trafficking firearms,
Yeah.
And then in this other case I'm covering, the Greek mafia uh, case out of the Chicago outfit, uh, named in the recent indictments, there is a allegedly an FBI agent corrupt involved in that, and a couple cops in Indiana. So,
And I mentioned in your chat that night that this goes on a lot more than people think.
mm-hmm,
I've seen it firsthand
mm-hmm,
how weapons, weaponry, and drugs and whatever other contraband or favors that is passed around through these agencies and law enforcement. And you want to believe that there's more good cops out there than there is bad, but like you said, there's going to be a bad apple in everybody. You're going to get a good plumber or a bad plumber or this or that. It's everywhere in life, and you just got to look for this stuff. Got to try to be aware of it, and whatever part of life it is, it's going to help you and your community and your family and the rest of the world. I mean, that sounds idealistic, but you just people need to be more aware of things.
mm-hmm. And I think there's an element here too of like minds stick together. Like let's say if you get a norm in the culture that, oh, we're corrupt here, and then the ones that kind of gravitate towards each other, their gravity brings them together. Now you got, in a concentrated area, you got a few of them. And I think that maybe that's part of this too, is that, you know well, like they say, well, a bad apple spoils a bunch. You get a bad apple, and then the other one next to him, if he's of a similar sort, then he'll go with it, and then another one. Next thing you know, you got a handful. And maybe that's what it is, and it's been going on long enough that it was normalized. But yeah, it's disheartening, man. And you take that and you put this entire community dynamic on top of it. As you know, it's frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and I've been pretty much doing these chats and watching you for and others for almost 2 years. It was new to me. As far as just the technical side, I'm like, oh, you can get here and talk to people, huh? And my friend who's got a channel showed me that, and I was like, oh, okay, I want to be doing that. So I got on with the couple. I found you, stayed with you, and it's amazing that even the people that started out with you are not around. And I noticed a certain algorithm, so to say, with a lot of these channels that's come out, and how people are picking sides, then fighting, getting back together. It's a very interesting community, especially. I mean, you get it in politics. You don't get it so much in sports or anything like that. But this true crime community, as far as what we can do with information now, which is at our tips, it's been a very interesting world to see a lot of these people shift around to certain people or to certain channels, and it's a learning experience, and I think it's a learning experience for a lot of us.
For all of us.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually think that here in a problem here in true crime in general, I think, is we're looking at trauma. So it's sort of, again, it's like that rule of magnetism. It's like there's something that attracts us to this, and that goes for everyone here, at least who's genuinely here. The majority of people, there's something in resonating with the trauma of those murders that resonates with them. So then they get in and they bring their traumas with them. And then I think there's an element of that too, where you have a lot of traumatized, emotionally stunted, and maybe, you know, emotionally vulnerable people. And then that's a difficult field, because I think there's a lot of fields where there are not so many that are emotionally traumatized, but, um,
With this type of community, emotions are
hmm
essentially involved with
yes.
people. That's what
hmm
starts them out, that they're emotionally involved with a lot of these cases, like, oh, and I hate to hear about that. And I got involved years and years ago with respect with a couple cases that started here. I was watching detective movies. I wanted to be a plainclothes detective and do that thing. And then all these certain crimes I found out and come along, I got interested in and learned about them, learned about criminal profiling, learned about psychology and mental behavior and kinesics, and all these other subjects I learned. But it got me into the true crime community, so to say. And, I did a lot of reading and then started watching stuff on TV. Then now you can get all this stuff on your phone, your computer, and, there's so much stuff to
This is your new
access.
TV. Yeah.
Now, it's mind boggling. And I got to admit, I got a little burnout this past year or so. And, I used to leave a lot of comments and stuff and don't really do that now. But, I still get in. I still try to keep in contact with, at least what's going on with this case. And, and I've been having it out with a couple people about that Nancy Guthrie ordeal. And I know there's probably some people in the chat that would disagree with me, but for the neighbors, when it comes to that part of the case, uh, but that's another story. That's another case. But yeah, here with Delphi Prop, and I appreciate you covering this and other activities in my state. It's like Indiana needs you. you know.
Well, yeah, I tell you this, I never intended it, but it comes across my feed. The various Indiana news comes across my feed, and it's hard to look away from some of it, you know?
Well, yeah,
It's all over, but
I've lived here all my life. I know a lot of the history. I knew the Grand Dragons family of the KKK, William Cheney. Uh, my dad was, I still keep in touch with one of the family members of John Dillinger. I mean, I've seen these corrupt businesses, through the mafia and through other aspects of organized crime. So I've seen a lot of this stuff firsthand and was involved in it. And, I'm glad I got out of that world and, started raising kids and, and just got down to brass tacks and start taking care of more responsibilities and, started having children. And so I got out of that world. And so it's not like I haven't seen a lot of the stuff in my state. And, and I know some higher ups in my state as far as law enforcement and judges, and none that I can constantly go to. But if I really had to, I would be able to ask them some questions. And actually, a good friend of mine had Andrew Baldwin as her attorney, so I've kind of picked her brain a little bit lately, and to find out how that went. But Andy, I appreciate you, covering things going on in the state, because I don't hear it from really anywhere else like as far as what you touch on.
well, appreciate it. I'm sure there'll be more because it's I didn't choose it, but seems to be what's coming across my desk. So I'm going to be highly following or closely following this Greek mafia thing because there's a lot to it that's still unfolding. But uh, It's looking pretty bad with that one. I think they're doing a whole RICO, and it ties in some law enforcement, so it's looking kind of rough on that one. I think
Yeah,
that's going to be a unwinding for the next year or so. It's going to be interesting to follow.
yeah, I heard some new info on that, and that's that could be a big deal. As far as putting the criminal world at bay.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, look, I'm going to jump off here, and I appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you, Hooser.
You're welcome. And I'll be around, Prop, and you got my number and my email. So anytime you feel like it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And then I know everyone appreciates seeing and hearing from you on the show tonight.
All right. Well, thanks, Prop, and have a good evening. I'll wait a few minutes. I'll probably get back in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. And good night.
Good
Okay.
night.
Hey, Disenfranchised, are you still in there? I saw you pop in the backstage. Are you coming back, Disenfranchised? We got somebody else, a couple people back here, so. But I wanted to let you have the opportunity to finish your thoughts. And thank you to Who's Her Daddy. Just give me a moment. Let's see. We'll see if she replies here. Okay, got the chocolate down, and I don't see her replying. So we'll see if she comes back, but moving on. Thank you, Hooser, again. All right, guys, so let's see. We got Phoenix here. I'm going to allow him to come up and express his opinion, voice his opinion. We'll have a little chat. We'll see what we got to talk about. Hello, hello.
What up, chat? Prof.
Phoenix, how are you?
Oh, okay. Trying to get my steps in.
Let's see. Okay, give me a sound check. Kind of
Sound
quiet
check.
there. Oh, that's better. Okay. Well, what's on your mind? Let's see.
Well, I thought this was supposed to be a call-in, and like,
Would it be
there's
fair to
a lot
say
of
you're
things.
calling from a crank perspective tonight? Could I put that label on you?
I guess. I don't know. I thought that's what it was supposed to be about, right?
Hey, you're mm, you want to try going out and coming right back in and see if that fixes your audio?
Here, let me take my beats out.
Oh, maybe that's just it. I'll wait a minute. Let's see.
How about now?
I think it's better.
Yeah, I thought you wanted to discuss things. I mean, you said a lot of things, and the other callers, good callers, but didn't really seem to address any of the topics that you brought up initially.
Oh, it's open lines anyway, but no, I'm happy to discuss with you because
Yeah, what
I
do you
don't
want to
think
discuss?
Oh, but you're what's the first what's the
You want me to
first
pick a
I
topic?
guess no, I mean your first point that maybe your first point of criticism or agreement, say.
Oh, I mean, I don't agree with much of what I'm hearing. Uh, what about this fundraiser thing? Why don't we talk about that? Because I mean, you say a lot of things like this, these people have something to do with it, and like pretty much anything that's being said about the fundraiser doesn't really seem to make any sense. So the first thing, like you're saying, like people are bringing up the fundraiser. The person that brought up the fundraiser, like we can just name names, is Erica Morse brought up the fundraiser. And Erica Morse says that she deserves the fundraiser money. And like that's something that doesn't make any sense to me. That sounds very weird. Like that fundraiser money was supposed to go to experts.
Okay,
Like
so
in no way, shape, or form is she was she an expert?
we're talking about the first defense fundraiser is what you're talking about. The defense fundraiser, defense expert fundraiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not going to address Erica's perspective of that because Erica's a whole other person. That's her perspective. Uh, I would address my perspective of it is uh, basically absolute and complete lack of transparency and accounting for the fundraiser is a huge issue that I have with it.
I mean, it went to experts. That was what it was supposed to do.
Oh no, but see, that's glossing over. It didn't go to experts. It largely according to the difficult thing about this fundraiser is because there's never been an accounting. You're we're left with a handful of individuals' word about the fundraiser, and so I consider the authority on the fundraiser at this point in time Andy Baldwin. Okay, at a different point in time, Michael Osbrook made other claims about the fundraiser. And then following that, All Eyes on Delphi made various claims about the fundraiser. And at this point, Mr. Hennessy
Well,
has passed
that's what I
away.
mean. This is how fundraisers work. There isn't like an accountability. Like, I mean, the platform that monitors the fundraising makes sure that it doesn't get misappropriated. Like that's their job. They do
That's not
that.
how it works, Phoenix. It's not how it works. That's what they shut it down
Where
because
do
it
you
was
where do you
not.
think the money went then? Like I think it went to experts because
I know where some
there
of
are
it
things
went, and that's
experts.
part of the problem is that I've been waiting for the truth to be told about that, which is insane that no one will have an accounting for that money.
with me that it shouldn't go to Erica, right? She's not an expert.
Wait, something's going on with your audio again.
That would be misappropriating.
Yeah, there were I okay, so hey Phoenix, something is very wrong with your mic or whatever.
If it hasn't, then I blame
Hello. Hello.
that was
Hello. Something's wrong with your audio.
so you agree with me that Erica should not have any access to fundraising because she's not.
Hold on, something's very wrong with your audio. I didn't hear any of that.
You agree.
Should not have any of the fundraising money because she's
It's still it's a no, it's
Am I still on? Is this thing on? Is it the Fiend Show now? Let's check the chat.
Okay,
Oh, he's
something
back.
was terribly wrong with your fundraiser. I mean, with your audio, and then my stream crashed or whatever
Well,
was
now
going
I
on.
can't hear Prof.
Okay, check, check. Hello,
Hello.
can you hear me?
I think Prof is muted, or it's
Uh,
muted on my end.
go back out and come back in. Somebody put that in the chat. Tell him go out and come back in. Okay, maybe that'll fix it if he goes and comes back. I'll give him a second. All right, let's try this now. All right, hello, hello. Check, check.
Check.
Hello. Technical difficulties, y'all. Technical difficulties.
Well,
Hello. Well, are we going to get it together? Hello.
get what together?
All right, so I think it's working now. So basically, we didn't hear a thing you said because it was pretty bad there.
Well, I don't know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so I guess starting from from the beginning.
I mean, the beginning of the fundraiser stuff is that Erica brought up the fundraiser and says that
Oh
she
no, but dude, we're
is
out of that.
entitled
I'm
to the
not talking
money.
about Erica. I have nothing to do with Erica's perspective on the fundraiser.
But you agree that she's not entitled to the fundraiser money because she's not an expert, right?
I don't have an opinion on that aspect. My concern is not with.
You don't have an opinion on whether the fundraiser was supposed to be for experts, because I think that's pretty like cut and dried
I don't think that's part
starting
of
point.
my claims. Have nothing to do with Erica and the fundraiser. My concerns are about the fundraiser, the remaining of the funds, and an accounting of the funds, and why all of the different versions from the different people who would have literally been in control of this.
Oh, I mean, I know that those are things that you're saying, but I haven't seen anything like that. The only thing I've seen is an accounting that shows where the funds went, and they all
And that
went to
account,
experts.
okay, hold up, Phoenix,
That
slow
and that's
down.
I haven't seen any of the other stuff that you're
Okay,
referencing.
hold
Like,
on, hold on. So you're saying the accounting that All Eyes on Delphi produced in a spreadsheet that's grossly erroneous? Is that the accounting you're talking about?
I mean, I only know of one accounting that exists. So
The
if
one
that's
she
the one that
made
you're
is
referring to,
I okay, look, man. All right, I'm kicking you out because you're not in good faith discussing. So obviously the one you're referring to is the one produced by All Eyes on Delphi, which is grossly erroneous and conflicts directly with Mr. Baldwin's and Mr. Rosbrook's statements. Okay. Which means if we're talking about that one, let's honestly agree that we're talking about that one if you're going to reference that as authoritative. Um okay, you're coming back in, but look, if you're coming back in and you're not going to be straightforward, I'm going to boot you out, Phoenix. Okay. Hello. Let's try again.
All right. I mean, I just don't know what you're referring to as authoritative on anything. Like
I'll give
ever.
my perspective. I asked you
I
what
know I can get
you're
your
referencing.
perspective, but like I can make up a perspective and just say,
I'm
hey,
not
this is my
okay,
perspective,
Phoenix.
but like it doesn't have a lot of value then.
I'll give you 1 second to not fucking gaslight. Okay. I'm giving you the opportunity to say what you're talking about. You referenced an accounting, and I'm assuming you're talking about the accounting that All Eyes on Delphi produced. Am I correct in that?
I don't
That's
know where it was produced initially.
it's the only one I've seen publicly because
Well,
I've
that's
not
if it's the
shared
only
with.
one you've seen, then obviously you don't have something else that you're referring to that's authoritative.
Yes, I do.
But you just said it's the only one that you've seen.
Okay. Phoenix is not allowed here anymore. Sorry, Phoenix. Um, we have to be able to have civil and good faith discussions. So obviously what Phoenix was talking about was the All Eyes on Delphi spreadsheet, and that he's citing as the only accounting of the fundraiser. So I guess unfortunately I'll have to continue without his input here because I will talk about it, but I would have loved to discuss with him in a productive way. um, All Eyes on Delphi did produce a spreadsheet that was grossly erroneous. And I've made that statement many times because it is grossly erroneous. You can't just take a bunch of numbers from a document and spit it in an Excel sheet and have it produce an accurate output, because you have to have accurate in, accurate out. So there were also, so let me see if I could quickly give my criticisms of All Eyes on Delphi's spreadsheet accounting, which is grossly erroneous. In the first place, there are several duplicates on there that are duplicative and therefore are going to lead to accounting errors. Thirdly, there were many of the inputs in that spreadsheet that were refunded or reimbursed by the court, therefore should not have been included in there because it was never money out of the fundraiser funds in the first place. Now, my authoritative source is Mr. Andrew Baldwin, because when I questioned him about the funds, his accounting was that he only used several thousand out of that fundraiser fund. And it's just so funny with the gaslighting, because I've literally, even against my own wishes, to prove to the public who will lie about this, I literally went into my email and copied the paragraph in which he informs me that he only used several thousand out of that money specifically. So how do you account for All Eyes spreadsheet where she says none of that money's left and there is a $9,000 or $8,000 deficit, whatever it is? How do you account for that when you have Mr. Baldwin himself saying there's more than $30,000 left of that fundraiser? Okay. Which then carries across to Mr. Osbrook, who also relayed that that's the approximate amount of funds left from that fundraiser. So the real question I have is about misappropriation of funds, because it's my opinion that the reason there's no accounting for that, and the reason there's no transparency about it, and the reason we have all these handful of conflicting stories about it, is because some of that money was misappropriated by those who had control of those funds, which is an assumption I'm making based upon other information that I have. Furthermore, I produced my own accounting of the fundraiser from publicly available information and from an inside source, and I had it forensically done, and it matched what Mr. Baldwin claimed. So in this entire debacle, I would cite Mr. Baldwin as the authority in that he is correct. He only used a certain amount of thousands out of that, so there's more than 32,000 left. And the real issue of the fundraiser for me is not so much about that's the figure that is remaining for Richard Allen's potential future use in whatever case. It's that there's this animosity and gaslighting about the true nature of the fundraiser. In other words, Mr. Hennessy has passed away, so there should be some process that has unfolded for ensuring that those remaining funds that were under his control end up with Mr. Baldwin's safekeeping, or whoever's going to safekeep those funds for Mr. Richard Allen in the future. Now, my opinion about what should be done with those funds is that the wishes of Kathy Allen and Rick Allen should be respected into the direction of those remainder funds at some point in the future. Okay, and all of this is talking about that initial fundraiser. And I would love to have these discussions in a reasonable and genuine way where we're not gaslighting each other. So my huge problem with All Eyes on Delphi's accounting of that fundraiser is grossly inaccurate, and it doesn't even match with Mr. Osbrook and Mr. Baldwin has said about the fundraiser. So that's the insane thing there is you've got All Eyes on Delphi putting across a supposed accounting of this fundraiser, which does not reflect reality in any way whatsoever, and doesn't even reflect Mr. Osbrook or Mr. Baldwin's own statements about the fundraiser funds. And it's really sad because what it ends up being is that this entire thing is a debacle. It's a total shit show. It's a disaster because of that. Saying that this is not the way fundraisers work is not an answer to the question about the fundraiser. It's deflection. My working theory here is that monies were used at some point in time out of that fundraiser for something other than which it was promoted as, which was for defense experts. Funds were used out of the fundraiser for something other than defense experts for trial, which is why there are all these questions, which is why none of the stories add up, and which is why the public does not get the true story. Now, the real question is, why does All Eyes on Delphi feel it necessary to attempt to fool the public about this fundraiser fund? Currently, like I said, I'm of the opinion now whatever Kathy Allen and Richard Allen want done with the funds that are remaining should be done with the funds that are remaining. I would say allow Rick and Kathy Allen to direct the funds from here on out, because you've made a total disaster of this, and it's disgusting. It's a bad look. And the reason I specifically asked him about the first fundraiser versus the second is because, yes, I also have a problem with the second. My problem with the second fundraiser is it was also falsely advertised. The funds were raised in the second fundraiser in a for the second fundraiser, there were funds raised specifically and unofficially, I might add, because remember, the second fundraiser didn't go to any fundraising platform. It went straight to the Venmos and the Cash Apps and the this and the that, right? So that second fundraiser I have a problem with, because there was more than $5,000 raised specifically labeled as for trial transcripts. What happened is those funds were never used for trial transcripts, because the trial transcripts were handed over for free, as it was advertised for weeks before that they would be, by Carol Weinecke and Michael Osbrook. So when those funds came in for that second fundraiser and were not immediately refunded, that was another total catastrophe, a debacle, and a terrible look for Richard Allen. Why is it a problem to say that? So now you've had two fundraisers, both with the remaining funds being highly questionable as to their existence, where they are, da 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 da. You see how they want to argue. This is not the question of. Let me give you an example. Guys, I really want to buy a new laptop for Richard Allen. It's gonna cost $3,500. I'm doing a Richard Allen laptop fundraiser. Okay, so you guys contribute. I'm gonna get a bunch of my friends. We're gonna do a fundraiser for Richard Allen, get him a laptop. Okay. Funds come in. I end up with $4,000. Oh, oops. Oh, looks. You guys. You know what? Somebody donated a laptop to Richard Allen. Somebody donated a laptop to Richard Allen. Okay. Awesome. That's awesome. But thank you guys so much for supporting my fundraiser. I just want you to know. I know I raised $4,000, and I just want you to know Richard Allen got his laptop. Okay, because someone donated one. Hey, yeah, I'm not gonna ever refund the total of that fundraiser back to everyone who donated. But if you want your donation refunded for Richard Allen's laptop, just go ahead and send me a text message or something. I'll see about getting it to you. That's my take on that. It's just like with the David Hennessy fundraiser. Okay, we raised $42,000 for defense experts. Trial comes. We could have used that entirety of that $40,000 to put forward a much better defense in the fucking trial for Richard Allen. But instead, we underestimate the trial. We don't really give 110% and use every resource at our disposal. And I don't really go out and ensure that I put together a substantial defense for Richard Allen and use that $30,000 or $40,000 to get that done and to get whatever tested I need tested and to get consultations with any consultants that I need regarding this trial and fly whoever I need to fly from around the country from A to B to C to make sure that I give all to Richard Allen for this trial. But instead, I just spend a few thousand out of it for convenience, right? Then I'm reimbursed for that later. And there's a few thousand I'm not reimbursed for, but there's still 30,000 left. And then I lose the trial, and now the money's just lingering somewhere. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's okay. I'll use it next time. But in the meantime, I got a few people out here running around, all telling different stories about that. So I don't know. I didn't want to get hung up on the goddamn fundraiser. I've already made articles and community posts saying what I have to say about it. All I got to say at the bottom line, my bottom line with the fundraisers, I would say they're absolutely disgusting. They give the public no reason ever to donate to any Richard Allen fundraiser again, because what you've done is you've raised nearly $50,000 for Richard Allen in the course of this all. You've only spent a few thousand of the 50,000. So you want to say it's not 50? Okay, $47,000 or $45,000, whatever the figure is, you've raised more than upwards of $40,000 you've raised for Richard Allen. There was so you hired an expert for trial or something? I mean, the public has no reason whatsoever to ever donate again. That's my problem with it, because there's been no consistent story about the fundraiser. Fundraisers. There's been no transparency about the fundraisers. They were both debacles. Whatever is the argument about it now doesn't even make sense to me. It's more so the message. You've had two total catastrophes of fundraisers. Why should the public ever donate again to any effort to raise funds for Richard Allen? They shouldn't. Because look at what's happened twice already. Do I think Eric and Christine have a claim to the fundraiser? Not really. I think Kathy Allen and Richard Allen have a claim to the fundraiser, and whatever they say should be honored. Do I think some of the funds were misappropriated? Absolutely. Yes. That's my working theory. And I think I made that very clear like a year ago when I brought up the complaint. I think what I said initially was that, I think money was spent from that fundraiser on things that it wasn't supposed to be. So yeah, is that called misappropriation of funds? Yes. Am I accusing someone of that? No, I'm speculating that that's most likely what happened. And I think it probably needs to be investigated. So my call for the fundraisers would be, I think law enforcement should probably investigate these fundraisers to see if there was misappropriation of funds by powerful people. Am I accusing any particular one of doing it? No. I'm saying there are certain people who had control of those funds and where those funds went. And my concern is that some of those funds were probably directed for purposes other than which they were raised for. And therefore, I do have that problem. I have valid reasons to believe that. I don't have to show you what those reasons are. I also don't have to show you my accounting, which All Eyes has been trying to to bait me into doing for the longest so she can then go and twist it. No, I'm not going to show you my accounting. I'm also not going to give you my sources who would reveal what they know about the funds. But just take it that my suspicion here is that funds were handed out from that fundraiser or those fundraisers for purposes other than that which they were raised for. Therefore, that's called misappropriation. And I absolutely believe that funds were misappropriated. And I'll leave it at that. And if someone has a problem with that, that's where the accounting comes in. And so when people are have the suspicions, when there's a suspicion that you've misappropriated funds, maybe in order to put the water on the fire, to set those suspicions at ease, you produce a full accounting, a full and true accounting, so that those suspicions don't carry forward any further. But I think at this point, it's not just me. A lot of people have questions about whether funds were misappropriated out of this fundraiser, and that's it. So is it necessary? Is that how it works, that fundraisers always show an accounting? No, that's not. But when there are questions about the funds and there are allegations of misappropriation, accounting usually helps solve the problem, unless it has the possibility of exposing the misappropriation. Then you'll never see a full and true accounting. So I guess since we had to bring that up, it was brought up. Okay, sorry. Let me, I have another person back here, and I was hoping that Disenfranchised would come back around, but let me see. Let me get this together. I need to refill my water. Just a moment. Yeah, and on this, before I move on with the next guest, on the topic of the fundraiser, as a final word, because Dennis McKean said this here. This is what I mean, Dennis. I'm all about something like this. Okay, I'm all about something like this. If the money's, if Richard Allen gets a new trial, yes, those funds should be used for more work on the new trial. Sure. Yeah, that's why they were there in the first place. If Richard Allen doesn't, and then there's post-conviction scenario kicks off with post-conviction investigation, all that, should the funds be used for experts in that investigation that's going to go towards a post-conviction relief scenario? Yeah, sure. Barring all that, give Kathy Allen the money. I mean, come on. I think that's enough said about it all. This is it's just been a huge distraction. The real question is, if we have to bitch and moan and act as a group to troll and harass someone on every single point. So, see, here's the thing that Phoenix won't say. Okay, he's a crank. Okay, what the cranks do, they chip away at you day after day after day after day after day. Every day it's a new fucking post about something else. Okay, so it's either your kid did this, your brother did this, your mother did this, your father did this, you look like this, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're a guilter, you this and you that. It's every little one thing after the other is what they do. And so when you're going to use every little thing and then the whole group's going to do it, because see, what the cranks don't tell you, not only do they astroturf, but they gang stalk. So what they do, they go and they'll get everybody in the little group to simultaneously attack on each little point. So am I responsible for other people's words? No. Am I responsible for anyone's words in my chat? No, I'm responsible for my words. Okay. I argue about my perspective, not my chatter's perspective. But when you're using something and then you don't want it to be brought up, how about you stop using the fundraiser as a talking point? Because obviously it was a complete fucking disaster, like everything else you've touched, by the way. Everything else the troll farm or the cranks have touched has turned into a complete and utter disaster. Has it not? What's the interest? I mean, what's the opposite of the Midas touch? Maybe I don't know, the shit touch. What? Remember Diary of a Wimpy Kid? There's a cheese touch. I think the trolls have the shit touch. Everything they touch has turned to shit and will continue to turn to shit. So maybe stop gang stalking, stop attacking, stop constantly trying to smear people who are supposedly on your side, right? Because all you do is you try to chip away at the people that are out here trying to pull the truth out for Richard Allen and Abby and Libby. We're trying to pull the truth and push the truth up to the surface for this community. And all you do is focus on us rather than focus on the state, on Nick McClellan, on Jerry Holman, on Doug Carter, and all that's been done here. You're more interested in chipping away at a couple voices that you disagree with. Let's get our next. We have someone in the waiting room. Please, we got other people here who are welcome to click the link. Okay. You guys are welcome. I don't know who this is. We'll figure out who's here. Let's see. Okay. We got Hugh Jan Vanny. Okay. Hello. Okay. Let's see if we got audio.
Hello, can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. Hello.
Hello, Prof. How are you tonight?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Marvin from Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay. How are you? What are you here to say?
Good, good, good. Yeah, that fiend guy was quite the character with them questions. I do have to say. The only thing the cranks forget a huge fact in this case, and that is the best way to give a Cajun a circumcision is to kick his sister right in the jaw.
Okay, chat. Let's do a chat. Let's do a poll about who this is. Okay, chat. Who is this on the phone line? Who is this on the line?
I said this is Marvin Wallace.
Who's on the phone line, guys? We're gonna do a vote. You waited all this time for this? Yeah, that's what I. Yeah. Was it just that you don't have the balls to come out as as yourself and discuss like an adult here on the channel? I'm trying to understand what's your approach here. The cat's got Keith's tongue. So it's pretty interesting. First time ever. You see, Keith is upset because he wanted to be a cop his whole life, and he was never allowed to. That's the problem there. So he's a little upset that he was never good enough to be a cop. And so now he works for him undercover, you know, undercover of a true crime troll, trolling the Delphi murders. Trying to get him the fuck out of here. He doesn't want to take the time to actually take
Free
advantage of this
Donovan.
opportunity.
Free Donovan.
So bringing my adult child into this conversation is relevant in what way again? Because you have a fat wife and we're never allowed to be a cop. Sad, man. Sad. Well, I'm surprised he waited a good hour back there to try to get in 3 words, including my son's name. Well, let's see. Yeah, there's sexual frustration, right? There's small member compensating, and then there's butt hurt that you went to college and all to be a cop and you just couldn't. So you got to be a Delphi murders troll doing the bidding of Indiana State Police. Good for you, man. Good for you. Well, that's a shame. Maybe I shouldn't have booted him. It would have been fun. Because now I'm out of people backstage. Well, I wish Disenfranchised, who also appeared to be possibly a crank, would get back up here. Phoenix would be welcome if he would just bring it down a notch to have a calm, good faith adult discussion without deflecting or gaslighting. I'm sure Phoenix had more points than that he wanted to argue other than just the fundraiser. Well, the link is still there. I mean, let's see. Maybe someone else will click who's not a troll. Let's see. See how many trolls we can get in here tonight. Oops, is that not? How do I paste that? Let's see. All right, let's go. Yeah, so I don't know, Phoenix. Maybe I'll give you another chance, but you can't fucking act like a maniac. Yeah, give me a minute. I want another chocolate. So let me get up and grab another chocolate. I might as well get some fuel. I'll stay here. They want to come back and play. All right. Full disclosure, more chocolate. Yeah, but it's a damn shame they can't come and actually discuss. It's a damn shame. You're welcome to come discuss Troll Farmer Cranks. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Well, I don't know, guys. I think the trolls came to do their little trolley troll, and then now they left, and we're all out of trolls. We're all out of trolls. What are we gonna do? We got Dennis McKean. Hey, I'm down with that. Let's see if Dennis got to say something.
Oh, hey, Prof. I'm
Yo,
hearing an echo. Hang on a minute. I got my phone right.
okay, let me mute you. Let's see. Mute. All you got to do is close your YouTube app, Dennis. Okay, let's see if that works.
Yeah, that ought to be good. That would that do away with your live then?
No, it sounds great. I don't hear an echo. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, but I hear myself repeat after I speak.
Oh, you
I don't
must
know if
have your
that means
YouTube
anything.
open. If you close your YouTube, you'll still be in here. Yeah.
I do. So I lose your live then?
No, if you close your YouTube, you'll stay in this StreamYard. Right now, you're in StreamYard.
Okay, all right. I just closed my YouTube. Okay. So I'm supposed to say something now. Okay. All this shit. Prof, I just want to say half the stuff, 90% of the stuff I know, I learned from you here. Whether I agree with every damn thing you say doesn't make a difference because I trust what you're telling me is the truth. And where I've been on these others and following the same shit, and then I'm 68 years old. I think I know when I can trust what somebody's telling me. But anyway, we were talking. One of the ladies, God, what was her? I was going up there. We were talking about that fence across the Mears property that parallels the path going to the bridge that I asked Ben Mears about last July when I was up there. They donated that property to some federal or government organization for whatever the hell it was. And I don't know what, I can't remember the lady. I'm terrible with names, but she was going to check some plat book or something about that. But is there, I don't know the people in your chat worth anything. Are there anybody living up close to Delphi that I could kind of run across and say hi to if I get up that way? Or is there any way to get a personal message to this silenced woman? She was talking about kayaking. I don't know how to do stuff like this. I know how to repair computers, but not operate them. I guess that's what he said.
Just yeah, email me. Email me.
Okay,
We can do
your
it.
email's on your channel, right?
We can talk
Okay.
privately.
So anyway, I don't know where the hell we was. I don't want to talk about the stupid shit we were just in.
Well, let me say before you get started, I don't even agree with 100% of what I say. So, this is a evolving working process. And 3 years ago or 4 years ago, I had a lot different ideas than I had a year ago and then now. I think the overall gist of it is the same though. And I literally do try to be as honest as possible. This is why I don't understand the backlash. I'm just looking for honesty out of everybody and transparency because let's not muddy the waters. Let's add clarity.
Well, and I don't understand the BS about it either because I've been doxxed on the dark web. Hell, my credit card company informed me of that 2 years ago. I mean, what really me? But the people that I see, you yourself, a couple of that one Southern tea lady, whatever become of her? I liked the crap out of her. She was a decent folk. And
Silky, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Silky, yeah. And I don't know, and I miss Joe Lewis's stuff, but the people that seem to know what they're talking about are the ones like you and whatever that are getting all the heat from everybody. And there's the idea between all the creators, and I'm including the R&M and all these other bunch, that the idea is to get the information out to the public so you understand what's going on with Rick Allen in the case. It should have no other point to it.
That's what I would think. And I would think, I'm only able to do, Dennis, what I can do, which sometimes it's only once a week.
You do
sometimes
a lot.
It's 4 times a week. But I'm where my mind is, because, I look at the news cycle and politics and economic news. I watch everything.
Yes.
And it's literally an everyday thing. And I just wait and I wonder, I wish that everyone every day was totally putting out this story over and over and over and over again, that the pertinent points.
Yes.
Because you never know when someone who has no idea about this is going to come across this. So it's hard because even doing it once, twice, 3 times a week, well, there's still 3 or 4 other days of the week left. So if we were all working together just to tell this story about the absolute egregious shit that they did to Rick Allen,
yes,
that would be great. But that's why I criticize this, because I see all of this bullshit and I think like, wow, why focus on each other when we've got like even if we did it all day, I mean, every single day we did it once, there's still many hours in the day. Some of these news channels, they're 24/7.
Yeah, report. Yeah. And it seems, and honestly, and whether you or who else gets along with some of these others, I've learned things from some of these other creators, because I don't know shit. I started out in 2020 when my daughter and I were riding my motorcycle up through Delphi, and she said, "Hey, do you know that there was a couple girls killed here?" Well, she should have never said that. Whenever they arrested Rick Allen, I got into it because honestly, I have family fairly close to that area that I try to, learn them and educate them. And thank God she's got a good man, But are you still friends with Rick Snake? Or I don't know if I even want to bring his name up.
Well,
because I've had a go or two with him lately.
Yeah, Rick turned against me over this Keegan Kline, Reese Davis stuff, and
he did me too. That's the communications I've had.
I don't want
with
no
him.
part of. I mean, I'm not here to fight. I'm here because
honestly,
I do believe certain things that seem to have.
Well, Prof, here's something about Reese Davis, and I've watched all your things with Reese Davis. That man is saying things that nobody should have known at the time that he was saying them, because all this information he's telling you has not been released. What kind of knife, then the things that he says about each girl being killed separately, that stuff adds up. If you look the way I've learned it from people, you look at the crime, this is what it looks like, and he's saying makes sense. And he couldn't have known this shit without it happening. And neither could the landowner, neither could Kline. And Kline's, Mr. Pedophile. I mean, what do you do? They did nothing to that guy for 3 years. But anyway, stuff like that. I don't care if the guy's he's been in for drugs. I mean, what the hell does that matter? He didn't do nothing to kill. He didn't kill anybody. Didn't do anything stupid. But the man has learned stuff, and they just turn him off like, oh, we don't want to hear from you. The prosecutors in the state and stuff. And the things he's saying that I have heard from your interviews, the guy knows what he's saying. It makes sense the way the crime is laid out. It makes sense, at least the way you've put it across to me, and he's talking. I don't see how, unless, I mean, well, we know, there's a reason why people aren't going to believe it, but there's logic to the stuff that I'm hearing out of that man's voice and through you that should make anybody and their brother, well, hell, there's all kinds of other people that you should have been looked at that they didn't or passed over, and who knows what the real answer is. I certainly don't. All I would have is an opinion. But the things that you're bringing out with, I don't know how in the hell you hooked up with that guy, but more power to you, man. That was awesome. That the things that you're bringing is knowledge that I pass on to the people I talk to. I've got several people, and I live in a smaller community in Illinois, that my friends live, hey, what about that Richard Allen guy? And I have stuff I can tell them because I've learned it from you and a couple other people. So I help and get the word out. And yes, I donated money for that because I thought, well, that was worth something. But I'm kind of wandering off because I'm old and it's late at night. But is there anything, I don't know what the hell I call for it. Somebody said,
No, I appreciate it. Well, first, it's great to meet you over the call because I've never spoken with you. But
well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you're always here, and honestly, Dennis, like I said, I'm not 100% on everything I say over time, but my mission has always been out here to put this in the public face.
Yes.
And let people sort it out, because just like I'm sorting it out in real time, then the public's going to sort it out. And as time passes, goes by, we'll all sort it out more. And well, I mean, so far it's snowballing, and like you say, it looks really bad. And, my suspicion from the beginning was this was a multiple perpetrator crime.
Same here.
Even before, before any of this with Rick Allen was arrested,
Well, I mean, look at, like you're saying, look at the crime scene. And yes, I've seen the photos too. How else could you describe? How could you else think? What else would you think when you see them? You've seen them. What do you think? The same as I do. One guy didn't do this. This is something weirder going on.
It was sick and weird, and a few guys at minimum.
And see, whenever the interview you had with Reese Davis, the last one I remember, something he said made sense to me was they tried to make it look like an old man didn't do this.
That was interesting.
That really stuck to me. And I got thinking, well, that is exactly, you would never think an old man had anything to do with this from what you've seen of the crime and heard about it, whatever, So the stuff, and I like to say, I learn every time I get on here, and you're keeping later hours. I have to go to sleep a lot of times, listen to your programs because I have to get up at 4:20 in the morning, but that's the way it goes, other than tomorrow. So, but, mine was just more of a giving you kudos. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about because I'm rambling. We've been doing this for a bit, and I've been in here since I don't know how long, but there's a lot of, I guess I want to say the lot of your chatters that I've seen as regulars that I've seen in here, I think the world of these people. They know their stuff. They have, I guess, educated opinions. But what I've seen even in the chat when we was talking about that one Phoenix dude, that they were being respectful when they were talking about different aspects of it. And yeah. And even that one lady said, hey, you want to go kayaking? Like, yeah, but you don't get this kind of stuff on the other sites I see. You get their bond between their chatters and the host of the channel. Yes, but I see more than that in these chatters when I listen to their conversations or read them, because there's more going on respect-wise between themselves and you and the field and all other aspects of Richard Allen, because we all think Richard Allen had got buffaloed. And there's no good went on, and it needs to be brought out. And that's what you people like you are trying to do, is bring it out so people, you know, whether it's where it stops, I don't know that any of us are going to know yet for a while, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I don't know what I'm saying. Actually, I'm just rambling. But my thought was just to say kudos to you for what you're doing, and all the people that I've had any communication and chat with, because, you know, I was telling that ladies, you can tell already I'm a Gabby Hayes. It's hard to shut up when you get going, you know. But when you have something to talk about like you do, I'll sit here and listen to man talk. I ain't going to interrupt him, or I want to learn. And that's why I come on. I learn stuff that I don't know, so I can pass the knowledge I learn on to someone else. And, you know, if there's other people that don't have, and I have a vested interest because I have family, someone up relatively close to there that I got to protect.
Mm-hmm.
But these other people that I talk to about don't have that, where they get into the case, you know, because I mean, I've had all kinds of bullshit to it, and it doesn't bother me. I mean, people do what they got to do to try to intimidate you, but that doesn't scare me. I mean, I'm too old for that crap. But when you get the knowledge and then other people try to twist it and use it against you, there's no reason for the cranky bunch or the troll. There's no reason for that unless they're gaining something from it. Because the truth, people trying to bring the truth out like yourself and a couple others, are doing nothing but getting hated on. And that's ridiculous, because, you know, it's like, I better not say anything political, but the people that are out here like yourself giving us the information we need to know, want to know, give us something to discuss about, are getting the shit for a stick on it, you know, getting hell over it. But, you know, anyway, happy birthday a while back anyway, too. I forgot about that. Did you have a birthday a month or so ago?
Oh, thank you. No, mine's in February, but I appreciate it.
Well, that's a couple months ago for old guys that don't remember.
It is, I guess.
You know, I know, but hell, it's 85 degrees here today, so it's great. I've been out riding my bike lately, but anyway, Chad, if you got somebody else come, I don't mean to just Gabby Hayes the heck out of you.
No, we appreciate it. Look, I'd like to hear from you again, but we appreciate it.
And like I say, when I talked to Ben Mears last year up there, he's the one I asked him. I said, Ben, that fence, that thing looks new. He told me that was put up July 3rd last year. I was there on the 5th of July, walking around, and I rode my bike up there and parked at the big place you park to walk across the whatever that bridge is across 25.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I walked the other way and saw that general's old statue monument where that general used to live, blah, 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 blah. Went down there and seen the area by where Rick said he parked. I went down there.
Mm-hmm.
But I got lost more than I needed, because I ended up at that cemetery on 300 North and not knowing that that's where I was, because I was just riding around until because I was really trying to find the cemetery for Libby, because I know Abby's buried up in Monticello, which I'm going up there this year to see her, but I didn't see Abby's, and I really wasn't sure I wanted to, you know, because I got lost in the I didn't know if there's only one, but I didn't really run across anybody local other than Ben to talk to. And he, you know, his belief was, I asked him, do you believe that they convicted the right guy? And he says, yeah. And I said, do you mind telling me why? And he said, because of him seeing that white van. And I go, really? You believe? Really? And I said, that van's been known from day one. If you ever watched that helicopter video,
right, which never happened. Yeah.
You know, and then there's video coming out of, you know, it's hard because the things I could talk, you already know, but I could go on and on and on and on. When somebody asked me about this case, I know 100 times more than my daughter does. And she's the one that got me involved in it. And she thought he was guilty for a long time. And I kept telling her that Doug Carter, he's a piece of shit. Don't listen to him. Don't let him railroad buffalo you. And she finally, after our conversations, and some of them weren't real good, that she finally started seeing things, you know, that didn't add up, and she's logical, takes after her dad. She's pretty bullheaded, and she started seeing things. She asked me more questions now. And I said, honey, I can't tell you everything I know because I can't, because you're up there too close. And, and I wish, and I haven't seen Noe. I miss Noe's stuff. He used to do his little music shows on YouTube, and I'd guess some of the songs and stuff. And he had, he had a blast, but I'm a musician kind of myself. I play guitar and stuff, and never have time to do it hardly, but I got 13 of them. Yes. So what the hell?
Same here.
Yeah, I see you I do have a Fender bass, precision bass. I've never played a bass in my life until a month ago, but
hey, that's my absolute favorite.
The bass is, or the precision?
No, the precision. Yeah, the precision.
Yeah. Well, and like I say, I don't know much about it, but as I've got a few Strats, couple Tellys, a couple 335s, a couple Gibson acoustics, just stuff that entertain me, because if I want to play, I got something nice to play, and that's just the way it is,
Yeah.
Luckily, things have been fortunate enough in my life. I've been able to afford to get stuff I wanted, because I didn't have stuff when I was younger, But yeah, anyway,
exactly.
Back to Ben Mears. He super nice guy. We're fellow motorcyclists, is where we met. There's a gas station on 421 right at the south of Tadge, the road you take to go down to Frankfurt. I have an ex that lives down there, and I met him there, and we talked for a good half an hour. He just got back from, he said, Denver or somewhere, him and his wife on their motorcycles, and we're Harley riders. So we met each other and just started talking, and he gave me a local perspective and cordial, just like you or me and anyone else can talk. Pretty nice guy. I didn't believe everything he told me. He probably didn't believe everything I told him, but I didn't know. I just wanted to hear local views, because I've never been there before, He seemed up and up. He told me things. When I asked him a question, he gave me an answer. He didn't stutter around.
Interesting.
It wasn't, I didn't feel like he was trying to snowball me or whatever, whatever the term you'd want to use. I think there was things he told me that I didn't believe, because I believe different. Maybe that's how to say it, especially and he was talking about where Rick said he parked at the old Farm Bureau. He was trying to tell me there never was one there, but I don't believe that either, but that doesn't matter. But the layout, and he told me where a couple spots were that I hadn't seen. So when I go back, I'm going to go up there and look them over this July when I go back up there. But other than that, I never met anyone from there. I don't know anyone. I don't know anybody there. And I kept trying to find that little restaurant across from the courthouse. I don't know how many times I rode by that courthouse, and every time I did, I never saw, Prof, honestly, a car all day until I got dead in town. It was July 5th, the day after 4th of July. And I, as soon as I get up there, here comes traffic. It's kind of a circle. You know how they have circles going around in town? Mm-hmm. That's kind of, it's like, and every time there'd be a call. So I'd have to get sidetracked, and I missed things. But he assured me it was there. And I hope all the chatters are enjoying this, because I'm rambling. But the area up there, that aerial view, I saw the helicopter that flew around. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I saved that and sent that to my daughter. I said, look how beautiful this looks from the air, the way the tree, the patches of the woods, and then the water. This is gorgeous if you see it from the air. I mean, in my perspective, but when I walked out there, and I was out there on the trail by myself, because I wanted to walk down to, that's the reason I was asked Ben about that damn fence. I was wanting to walk down to the crime scene without going across the creek. And I knew from everybody else and then whoever saying it, Noe, I think him and somebody took a trip down there one time that I watched, but you couldn't now. That's why I questioned. That fence looked brand new, and it was brand new. And it's divided off, and it's into some government program that you can't. You can't, and I didn't want, and like I say, I walked all the way from the bridge trail going to that bridge that's paved now. I walked all the way over to the Mears fence, and I know I was on their property, but it wasn't closed off from the trail side. And I'd asked Ben about that. I said, I didn't mean to trespass on your green. He said, no, you're good. said, I didn't go do nothing. I said, I just wanted to look around because I'm new to this. And he was real nice to me. Don't get me wrong. We were fellow bikers, had a mutual respect for each other. So as far as when I didn't push things, and when I didn't agree with him, I didn't push anything. I took his in. He took in what I said. We just had a mutual conversation, and we both probably learned something. So other
Just,
than that,
what's the word for that? Congenial or whatever?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we were respectful because we started off talking motorcycles because I come out of the gas station. He just pulled up and he was on his bike and I was ready to get on mine. We both rode the same kind of motorcycle. And this led to that. This led to that. And he told me who he was. Aha, wait a minute. Are you and he lives in the brick house, he told me. Of the mayor's house.
Oh, I didn't know he lives there now.
He said he lived. That's what he told me last year. He lives in the brick house, which, and I walked down there and I knew what he was talking about because I drove by, but when I walked to their fence from the trail by the bridge, I looked at those two houses. So I knew what he was telling me. But yeah, when I got lost, I ended up at that cemetery right there on 300 North. Well, wait a minute here. I shouldn't be, And I drove around and looked because I had seen the pictures, the video Noe had done where he had went through there. And I recognized the stuff he had shown me, or I would have never known what I was looking at, But is it true that they have the crime scene area kind of fenced off now? I heard that somewhere. Does that sound right?
Since I've been there, I don't know if they've put up. I think I heard they put up a little barbed wire or something.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I didn't want to.
You could tell there used to be one there that had been fallen down and dilapidated, but
there was. I saw one too, but I didn't. Well, I wasn't one. I was by myself, and nobody knew other than my daughter that I was there. So I wasn't going to pull any shenanigans. But I wanted to walk across the bridge, and I could have. I'm still. But I think, I better not. Now I'm going to be on Weber's property as soon as I get on the other end. And I don't want to trespass on somebody I don't know or met. I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just up here looking around, And it was neat. That area that's like where it is out here. I bow hunt in ground that looks similar to that. Not exactly, but hills and valleys and little that I bow hunt in those kind of areas around here where I'm from. So I had an interest in looking it over, and I took a lot of pictures as I was walking around, or for the trail. And I didn't go from the Freedom Bridge where you park to the bridge. And I remembered somebody did like a little seance or something out there. One of these, whatever the heck you call the people that believe in the afterlife, and they did a seance or whatever out there on the bridge. Noe sang a tune out there. I saw a video of one time, thought that was real special. Actually, it kind of teared me up when I heard him do that. That was a couple years ago, I think. But as far as I don't want to run across any of the cops. I'm afraid in McLean, I'm afraid I don't know that I can hold my composure because I know what they've done. And I'm kind of one of them speakers of truth and right. I believe in that kind of stuff. It'd be hard for me to hold my tongue, knowing you're there by yourself and nobody really knows you're there makes it a lot easier. It does, because you just don't, I don't want to get in trouble, and I'm not out there to cause any local troubles. I had all the hope in the world for Libby's mom. And I can't even remember her name now, but during all the stuff the Ann Williams, that lady, I don't know about her. I thought, man, I gave up on her, but Libby's mom, I thought, she's getting the short end of the stick. They're not communicating with her. And then all of a sudden now she's believing that Rick Allen did it. I just don't see. And I have seen the only person, how can I say this, of Libby's family was, Becky Patty. I see a little bit of the grandmother in her on occasion in some of her stuff. You see, like, it gets her every little bit every once in a while, whether she is knowing or I have no idea, but I see the mom coming out or grandmother come out and her just a certain kind of things that I've seen on video that, yeah, and she's talking and it gets to her a little bit. So she shuts up and gets a little teary in the eye and stuff. That's expected. That seems normal to me. Now, what do I think of Mike or them? Don't want to run across them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anything of any of that bunch up there. But I'm not going to just cause trouble going up there. I'm up there to just look around when I go up there because there is they had like a centennial or something here not long ago. They had that monument was there by where you parked or between where you parked and walk up to the Freedom Bridge. There's a little monument area they had was centennial or something. That was kind of neat, you know. And that bridge going up to that bridge or that's pretty neat the way they got all that done. That was an old railroad. Hell, we got railroad trestles where I'm from here, but none of them's 850 or 25 foot long. And I don't think they're 60 foot in the air. Some of them are 40, but you know, that stuff is all, well, I'm from Illinois, central Illinois here. And that's all kind of the same area of the Midwest, I guess. The ground's kind of all the same. Everything's kind of looks the same. You got farm fields and you got hills and valleys and you got water. That's basically what we have in both states. So it didn't surprise me. I didn't see anything that I wasn't expecting to see. It was neat from a perspective of I'm seeing, man, I wish I could deer hunt out here. That's what I seen when I was walking the trails. I wish I could deer hunt out here. But knowing what I've learned and seen and hearing all that stuff, I didn't have any, I don't know, women probably would get a little creepy feeling. I went out there, don't be honest, but it was broad daylight out when I went out there. It was probably, I don't know, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning when I finally got out there to do it after I got lost a couple times. But I didn't have any of that. I kept hearing a noise in the woods. There was an animal walking in the woods off to the Mears' side as I was going in there. I don't know if squirrel, it wasn't squirrels because I know it, but there was an animal, but that's nothing unusual for me. It's just you hear stuff, and if it would have been nighttime, I don't know. You know how things are creepy at nighttime. It might have been something. If you see red eyes glowing at you in the dark, that kind of gets to you. But but the area, well, you've been there, right? Yeah, and you took some what do you call them, drone footage and stuff, didn't you?
Yeah.
To me, that's just kind of like home. It's just another place like home to go visit. So you're familiar enough with that type of ground and land and setup that you feel comfortable enough being there. I do anyway, because I was raised out in the country when I was a kid, and I still consider the town I live in kind of country, even though they kind of think they're little Chicago. But other than that, I'm still rambling, I guess. But your email is on your website, right? Your site for right. Okay. Because there's and by the way, I wanted to ask you, did Noe get the money everybody sent to him whenever he got out of jail? Did that help him out?
Yeah. He did.
I wondered about, I don't know, because I was having so much trouble trying to figure out how to get it to him that I just sent it to you. That was so much easier. But yeah, I haven't heard from him. I guess he lost his channel. Is that what I hear?
Yep.
Yeah.
But he may be watching tonight.
I heard I saw in the chat that some lady said he was. And what he got out of jail, Prof, the bullshit, not bullshit that he was throwing, but the stuff he was throwing down for the bullshit about like Frank or whatever, these guys that he was giving, the shit's stopping with you and me. I was just all for him. He had to deal with these bullshit, and he's had to deal with a lot of stuff because he's, that nobody else has. You got to give more power to the guy. He's still holding it together, and still I don't know how to say it. He's kind of not cocky socky, but he's kind of broad and in your face still when he talks, which is his personality, the way I take it, because I don't know him. I've never met him either, but I like the guy. And, I don't know how old you are. I'll be 68 this July. So it's like, I've seen a lot of people. So I kind of always believe I can read and people to know you talk a couple words like Osbrook. I heard him speak. That guy's a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned, just by hearing him speak, because he thinks he's better than everybody else and only he knows what he's saying. That's what I get. That's my opinion. Whether that's anybody else's, that doesn't matter. So anyway, Prof, I probably ought to get off here. Let you get back to what you're. I want to hear you. I got on to listen. I didn't really ever plan on doing this, but I'm glad I did because I enjoyed talking to you.
Well, it was great to hear from you.
Yeah, and
we I think now everyone
I know they're going to expect this from
I
now
think
on, but
everyone is they get to know you a little better. You know what I mean?
now the problem is I got to get back on YouTube and find your chat. Can
Oh,
find your
right.
show.
You got
'Cause I
to.
had to click off of YouTube just so I
Right.
didn't get the echo when I was speaking. But anyway, if I don't get back to you, because it's 12:30 here almost, and I got to get up. I'm going to go take my Harley and ride the Great River Road from Alton, Illinois to Grafton tomorrow, and back around and come back home tomorrow because I haven't done it for a year or two. And it's a peaceful, wonderful ride. You're along the river there, and all the bluffs are on your one side of you. They're made out of whatever the hell, sandstone and stuff, bluffs. And you're like 30 foot from the river riding. And it's cool as hell. I try to do it every year or two anyway. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to get up and go do that tomorrow. And it's like a 480-mile trip for me there, back and around and get back home. So I got to get my ass together and get doing it. But anyway, thank you for everything you do. No shit, bottom of my heart, seriously, because I know, whether I don't want to hear your problems, but I know what you're going through. And by God, I got to sympathize with you because you're still holding your shit together and you're just still treating your followers. Or maybe that's the way to say it. I don't like to be called a follower, but you know what I'm saying. Guys that watch your channel and listen
Members,
to you.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're still holding it together, and we're still the regulars that I see on here, and I don't get on. I miss some of them, but the regulars I see seem to be faithful, if that's the way to say it, to you, which I hope I am, because I enjoy. I learn. I wouldn't, if I didn't learn something from you, I quit watching it, really, because I wouldn't know anymore. I have no way to get more knowledge. In this case, just it just constantly floods you when you start thinking about it or reading about it or learning, or this case floods you, and it's nonstop when it does.
It's terrible.
And I don't know. I don't know how hard I wished and I'm still serious to God about raising money to get Kathy to go see Rick. I'd be almost willing to fund it just to get her a visit to Oklahoma. If I could come, I'd spend a couple $1,000 just to get it to her to do it, but I don't know how to get it to her and make it legit. You know what I'm saying? Because that poor woman.
I'd love if she could go see him every month,
Same here. And I don't know how to do that because Hennessy was in control of that other fund that I donated money to. But I don't know from now with the conversation I was listening to you talking and the other people, who the hell do you trust now? I mean,
it's a shame. It's just that's why I refer to it as a debacle or catastrophe or disaster.
And it seems like it's one after another, after another, after another, after another about this case. And it shouldn't be that way between creators, your followers or whatever, and other this is about Rick Allen and the injustice that happened to him. Or no, I'll take that back. It's about who in the hell killed Libby and Abby. And we want to know, and everybody, they need to be arresting these people. And this man.
Yeah, but at this point, it's like, look at what they did to that guy. I mean, if this is the most textbook obvious railroading you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, for me.
Blind people could see this if they look at it. Because it's like you're saying, it's obvious. It's not, oh, well, it may be, but it's blatantly obvious that that's what they did in every instance. There's no proof that he did anything. There's no proof Bridge Guy did anything. There's no proof anybody did anything other than some people did. But them two girls, and it's going to be 10 years here. What, next year? Or this year? No, next year. And
to think they'd be in 10 years. So at 10 years, they would be now like 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like think of the 24-year-old, young ladies and men that you know. They're young adults.
Well, it's hard. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to know young people because my daughter is 32, maybe my youngest, but yeah, the next generation below that, I don't know. It's hard to give a proper perspective on because that bunch don't seem to think so good as far as I'm concerned. if you know what I'm saying. And I don't know how I'm going to say you're 50 or 53 or 4. I don't know if I'm right or not, but
And then no confirm or deny.
okay.
Yeah. Well, a lot of I don't know this. A lot of them can't. There's a big problem with reading right now and math, reading and
Yes,
math with the
yeah.
young ones, but they don't. The education is so different than what
Well,
we
our system,
had. Yeah.
well, and like I say, I went to school. I was alive when Kennedy was shot, and I was in first grade, and they showed the news on the TV in our library. It was in the light when it happened. I know where I was at when Reagan got shot. This kind of stuff you just remember. It's traumatic events, but I don't remember where I was at when blah 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 blah. But we had, I don't know, slower times and all that kind of stuff. But you were learned values and respect for your humans. I mean, there's a kid that he's my daughter's age that I met him. He was shooting a right-handed bow left-handed when I was started getting into archery, and my Dan's one distress syndrome kicked in, and I got to help this kid. We're good friends now. I've known him for 20 years now. He's a good kid, he does, but it's just one of them things. You just read people, and you were taught to help people. If you see help, you get old ladies. I've had old people that, is at Walmart? No, they're checking something ain't going wrong. Well, I'll take care of it. It's no big deal. They're just buying dog food or something, and everybody looks at you like, oh, you're holding the line up. Or I said, shut up. I said, I can't believe you people are mouthing off that I'm helping this lady, just stupid shit like that. They're people that don't. Everybody's got their own agenda for what they're doing in the daytime or days. But when you don't have the time to slow down and think, you see some, you ever seen I know you have, you got kids, you see a kid crying. What's that do to you? It tears you up because you don't know what's wrong with it. You want to try to fix it. That's being a parent. That's the way it is. But nowadays, you go talk to, some towns, not here anyway, you go talk to some kid, they're going to call the cops on you for some dumb reason. And you're trying, you don't, things are way different from, like I say, I think you're a different generation from I was born in the late 50s. You're probably born in the mid to later 60s is what I'm getting, whether you 70s, are, and I'm not asking you. I'm just making a comment. But when I first got on one of your programs, and I had watched, the first guy I saw was that goddamn CJ, is one of the first programs I ever seen on this. And I thought, he talks good talk, and then all of a sudden he went to hell. He was a piece of shit. I don't understand.
This community right here will eat you alive. I'm telling you. The shit that comes to you by just inserting yourself here, like very few survive. Like, that's why you're mentioning Joe Louis and Silky and stuff. It was because everybody gets run off. They just don't want to deal with the shit.
Well, and you can't blame them. But I'm taking it that you're retired in a way that you have the time to deal with it. Where other people,
and I like you were saying about slowing down.
Yeah.
Some years ago, I just slowed my whole life down. It was like with the birth of my kid, and then I had another kid, and and then, and then I stopped the moving as fast as I used to. And then my last couple years, of teaching or working, I hit my 20th year, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more. And so I'm mostly I've done slowed down to a crawl,
Oh shit, I haven't. And mine speeds up. But thank God you don't, maybe you do, but thank God you don't have any girls.
Oh,
And I
no,
don't
no,
mean this
no.
bit, the girls are so much more, especially the older they get, there's so much more involved you have to be with them. When they're little kids, they're terrors. All kids are terrors, especially girls when they're 2 to 3, 4 years old. They're just nonstop. I don't mean terrors as being evil, but I mean it's like you never get to catch your breath when they're that age. And I'm even when I visit my grandkids, oh my God, my youngest grandkid, she's 3. The oldest is 9. Well, he's a little easier nowadays because he, said, Grandpa, let's go run. Oh, wait a minute. But when you get into your family, there's nothing else in my world that makes a damn bit of difference. None of, like I say, I've got $20,000 of guitars sitting here with me in 2 rooms. And it doesn't mean, and not counting the amplifiers, that don't mean jack shit if my kids or my grandkids aren't happy and healthy, if I can't do something about it. If I can, that's my job. My dad is 96 years old. He's still living and driving. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I'm amazed every time I talk to him. But my dad was one of my best friends when I was younger. Growing up as a kid, he took me hunting. He took me doing the stuff that I did because I was, he's my dad, and the other kids had other ends, but I followed along with him because I took after stuff that he did that I liked, hunting and fishing, blah, 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 but yeah. And so to this day, my dad, he's still moving, still driving, still doing this, that kind of stuff, but he's way, 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 he's slowed down. Like you're telling me is what I'm getting the vision of you slowing down in life. That's what my dad's done. He has to, because he's 96 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff that him and mom, God, they used to kill me, probably. I can't. I go over to my mom and dad's when my mom's been gone for 10 years probably now. But the little community where they lived, my mom knew everybody. My dad knew everybody. And we were only like 2,400 people when I was going to school. There wasn't a whole lot of people in this little town. But they would be talking, and I almost, they start talking about somebody. We'd have a conversation when I'd go visit them. And before you know it, I'm going, yeah, because they've talking about things and people that I have no idea but they know, they know what they're talking about. They're expecting me to follow them, and I can't follow somebody that's 40 years older. I can't. I don't know these people. They're going, they talk about. So I wish I knew what my dad and mom knew. I wish I did. I wish I was as smart as my dad. My dad was an engineer with a telephone company. But the things I learned from listening to that man, and he doesn't even realize that he's saying them to me. He's to the point that he's relying on me for knowledge when I visit him. But still, you get to talking, he starts talking about stuff just like he's Gabby Hayes too, and he can tell you things that you had no clue. But Dad will remember if I ask him about some event or place or somebody,
Mm-hmm.
he still remembers, which I had no clue of. That's why I have to ask him. And the younger generations don't seem to really, and they may be in that era. When you were as a teenager up to 17 or 18, you didn't give a flying burrito what anybody else thought or said. You thought you knew every damn thing there was known to man, and you went accordingly. Well, that's kind of what I think of the younger bunch now, because they're at that age. To me, a 40-year-old is a kid to me now. That's the way. And what do you call me? Well, because you're kids to me. I got a child he'll be 49 in November. So, they're kids,
Mm-hmm.
But being from, and I don't know, and I'm not asking you where you're from, if you're from a big area or a small area, the difference, the way people treat each other in a smaller community, I wouldn't want to live in a big town anymore. I used to live in Indianapolis in the 80s, mid 80s. I lived over there, and that was crazy. Who'd want to do that anymore? I live in a smaller community. Everybody you see will wave at you, So anyway, you need to get on with your show, because I'm just rambling again. So I come on here to listen to you instead of talking your ear off. And I can't read the chat, so I don't know what they're saying.
Oh, right.
I can't see the chat to know when to shut up. So, but anyway, chat, I'm going to get off of here, and I'm going to try to find your live stream again on YouTube so I can follow along. But I'm proud as hell of what you do here.
Thank you. I appreciate
I'm
it.
proud
And
as
it's
hell.
great to meet you.
Yeah, it is good to meet you. It's. I want to meet Noe someday, but I don't know how to arrange to get a hold of him. But I like that guy, and I've never met him, but the stuff I like that guy.
He
I've
bring
seen
you eat
four
good
pits.
food at
Oh
what
yeah,
is it called? El Riconcito.
yes, yes. And that Four Pits guy, I seen the video where him
Uh-huh.
and Noe did the canoeing down the creek.
That was
He
fun. Yeah.
seems like a good dude.
He is.
I
Yeah.
don't know now that Deb that you have for moderator. I think there's some of them ladies in here that I think you
Deb's the
probably couldn't
best.
meet better women in your life.
I know. I know.
Well, you should know, yeah. But it's not what they say; it's the way they say things when you're chatting that you can tell these are good people.
Mhm.
And I'm going to talk them into not believing that of me if I keep going. But anyway, Chad, let me get off here, and I'm going to try to get your live back again if it's still going.
All right. Good night, and hope to see you there in 2 minutes. You should be able to find it quickly.
Well, as soon as I kick YouTube back on, hopefully it'll pop because I've got you as a what do you call it? Whatever you call it, subscribed or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, let me get off of here, and I don't know how to get off of this. I guess I'll end in the window or whatever.
All right, sounds good.
All right, well, nice meeting you, Jared. Nice talking to you. Anyway,
same here.
I can see you, and I got stuff behind me I didn't want people to see because it gives away who I am.
I
see. I kind of But anyway, let me get off here. Nice talking to you, and honestly you can do it again because maybe I can remember something else to bring up. But because I about forgot all about the where you was talking about on your live. We started talking God knows what because I get that way. But anyway, good night, sir. I'll get back on your live, and everyone in the chat, if you're still there, not laughing and all this, I'll get back with you in a minute. Take care, Prof.
All right. Good night, Dennis.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night, sir.
All right, guys. I'm once again really thirsty, and I think it's like it always happens this time of year where I feel super dehydrated. But geez, I can't stop drinking. But well, it was great to talk to Dennis and to meet Dennis. I've never spoken with him before, but yeah, that was great. Look, he made it back in the chat already. That was great. And I'm sure he'll be we'll hook him up with a couple people in Indiana, and he can get to know them, go meet with Noe and Christine, whoever else wants to. But that was great. It's not the chocolate, Deb. The only time I eat the shit is when I'm on here. Yeah, that's the only time. It's my quiet time to sit down and eat chocolate. Otherwise, I'm running around chasing around a 6-year-old. No, but okay, what happened? Well, while Dennis was talking, one of our prior guests clicked back into the backstage momentarily and then left again. So I guess they changed their minds, but we had someone come in and come out, and I haven't seen what's her name? I've forgotten the other person's name. Un something. The one talking that wanted to talk about Reese Davis. She's gone, but let's see. Oh, disenfranchised 37. Not unenfranchised. Disenfranchised 37. But no, I think it's good to talk. I think that I honestly wish the cranks could come in here and talk more calmly, slowly, honestly, genuinely. Same with old one or two of the troll farmers, but I don't know. That's expecting a lot. I think expect a lot. I think Dennis as well. I think we expect a lot of people, and I don't know. We're sort of at the place where you can't really have expectations of others, right? You can't expect anything of others because then you'll be disappointed. So I try to keep that in check, but I do expect a lot. I think like, hmm, too bad we can't just talk it out. Sit here, talk it out, reason with each other, um, keep the emotions and the combative bullshit out of it because genuinely it's not my objective to sit here and do that. But I am getting hungry. And it's getting later. So I'll wait a few more minutes. But I think we did good. It's a little bit, we got a little bit talking in, nothing real productive with most of them. Um, Let me see if I want to circle back to the main complaints. Reese Davis, I trust him. I don't get the sense that he's lying. His unfolding of his story to a more complete version is absolutely sensible and understandable. Natural development because of the way that he was at first sort of controlled and censored more. Then he allowed himself to talk a little more, and then more recently, he's a little more forthcoming, um, as much as possible. I don't know why we got fixated on the fundraiser. I think it's not worth getting fixated on. I would have liked to talk about other things. I think there are other problems here. I think the fundraiser is just it's a side issue. It's not the main problem that we have going on here. I think the main problem we have going on here is the need to try to discredit and dismantle people who are out here trying to push the truth to the surface. I don't get it. I don't get it. I think everyone could be doing a lot more as far as exposing the atrocities of this trial. Uh, I don't think a bunch of the misinfo or speculation on what happened with the case is very productive these days, you know. But I think showing the atrocities and the I know the in your face blatant railroading of Richard Allen and how that was done, think about with all of the 70 days of deleted shit, with all of the shit that never appeared in Discovery, with all of the trying to hide the Odinism, trying to hide the Keegan Klein stuff, trying to hide the Ron Logan investigation, trying to hide the even the Reese Davis letters, trying to hide the Brad Weber timeline shit, like all of the effort that the prosecution put into hiding stuff and deleting stuff, and then the way that the judge continuously sustained all the objections of McClellan, but didn't do so with the defense, just preferential treatment, bias, strong arming. Couldn't we be talking about all that on a regular basis? Everyone could be doing more of that. Or like I was saying about honesty, uh, the fact that people can't come forward and just come to the level with people and say, yeah, we did that. That was pretty fucked up. And yeah, we did that. And that was pretty fucked up. And Yeah, he was right about that, and we did that. Yeah, and Christina was right about this and that. That was pretty fucked up. And she called us out, and yeah, she's right. You know, and what Erica says is actually true about this. No, you can't at all whatsoever just lay the cards out on the table and let the chips fall where they may. I mean, I think a lot of us have a lot of latitude we're willing to give people, forgiveness and understanding. A lot of people have a lot of understanding, give you a lot of leeway. Shit, I'm still willing to give a lot of people a lot of leeway. It's funny. It's funny. Where else do you see it? I guess I would put it like that because I know I'm not wrong. So I would say, where else do you see that? Where else do you see people willing to civilly discuss, willing to give a lot of leeway, willing to overlook certain things, willing to come to the table? Not really. You don't really see that, but you do here. And yeah, I unfortunate. I don't think this was very productive in terms of allowing dissenting voices to speak. Didn't seem very productive, but I guess the good that come out of it is we had Dennis introduce himself to everyone, and I'm curious about these individuals who clicked in, who sounded like other individuals. Kind of interesting. Like I said, why have to do it behind deceit? Like you can come behind backstage under your own account, and I probably still let you on to have a debate or discussion. Uh, just come as your own account. Put your name, put your normal account, your normal name, and then when you come backstage, I'll see who you are. I'll say, "Oh, that person wants to come. Okay, I'll give that opportunity for that debate or discussion." But no, it's always trolling and games because look, let's be honest here. These people know they're trolling. Like you don't think they know that they're trolling and the whole objective was not to come and discuss. The whole objective was to troll. Like I said, you have chaos agent and narrative pushers. And that's exactly what you're looking at. That's exactly why you see the way it displays. Trolls, trolling. What are trolls here to do? That's a rhetorical question for you or food for thought. Anyhow, I don't guess anyone else has come click in because it's pretty empty back here. So I'm going to say good night. Listen, it was a nice Friday. Today was Friday, May 29th. It's a nice day. Friday, May 29th. It's going to be ending soon. It'll be Saturday, May 30th tomorrow. Um, yeah, so I'm going to go eat something. I got a lot of goodies. None of them are sugar. Don't worry, Deb. I got nice snacks that are not sugary. I don't think it's sugar, but I got a phone call I need to make when I get off. I'm just remembering. And that's it. Really going to hang out with the little buddy. It's getting late over here. So I'm going to tell little buddy good night. But anyway, thanks to I would say the guest who clicked in, but yeah, not really. But thanks to Dennis, okay, and thanks to Christopher, Mustang, Silence Woman, Dewey, Critter Mama, Deb, Dennis, who's her daddy? Oh, I forgot about who's her dad. Pardon me. Barbara Borman. Oh, hey, Christina. Goose's Gammy. Silence Woman. Oh, Becky B33. We got Fur Baby Daddy. Trial Junkie. Mandy Boo. Don't know who else I may have missed. Monday. Carla Ann. Nicole Watt was here earlier. Swade Smith was here. Pincake. I think that catches everybody. If I missed you, apologize. Just drop your name down below. Oh, American Night Mom was here. And as you know, this disenfranchised account. And Quadaxo Mimi was here super earlier. So yeah, everyone who came in, thank you so much for joining the chat and watching. All lurkers. Pretty sure we had a fair amount of lurkers because I saw more lurkers than I saw chatter. So thanks, lurkers. And yeah, I don't see anyone else. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's everybody. So, oh, Matt Payton. Almost missed Matt Payton. Thanks, Matt. All right, we got Matt. I think I caught everyone else. So, boom. Good to see everybody. Happy Friday. And I'll see you soon. I got the next show coming up. Super interesting. Not about Delphi, but you'll like the next one. Okay, we'll do the next one. And yeah, fuck off, trolls. How about that? All right, good night, y'all. Good night. I'm out of here. Let's go with the let's hit the reset button. The reset button gonna go like this. Let's see.
Well, obviously we have a rapist in Lincoln Park. He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband because they raping everybody out here.
Must be talking about Keith.
Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Been waiting so patient, I'm going places, can't fake it. My heart is so cold, my energy is contagious. All the pain, I can't take it. I'm staying grounded and graceful, cause I know everything that I've been through only made me count my blessings daily. Yeah, they've been acting shady, but I don't take it personal. The memories fading, I'm enjoying the moment. I've been smelling the roses, taking time to reflect, stepping back, the truth unfolding, unfolding. Got nothing to prove, cause I'm about to blow. I've been in the booth, speaking through my soul. You know that I'm true, either way it go, way it go, either way it goes. I cannot turn close, ain't none low. I've been protecting my soul. If your intentions are not pure, I can't let you get too close, cause I'm vibrating high. Ain't got time for your ego, these niggas quit to turn it back. Acting like the amigos, they never cared in the shows. Wasn't with you at your lows, assuming that you gonna fold. But baby, I've been growing ever since I let you go. And I've been doing better, and I know that hurts to know. Hurts to know. Only good vibes around me, and that's for sure. Only good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. Can't lie. Only need good vibes, good vibes, good vibes, good vibes. You see me searching for my inner peace. I've been learning more about myself and my purpose. Truth always comes to the surface. Was hurting, but I had to heal, releasing all the pain that I always heal. Been going through some changes, I'll make it still. Protecting my soul to keep it real. Only need good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes. Only need good vibes. And I only need good vibes, good vibes. Good vibes, good vibes.
Not productive. It's kind of gross and icky. And I feel like it tells us more about them than the people they're trying to degrade. They're always trying to degrade someone.
This is bullshit, Alado.
Bruh. It's our job to help law enforcement. Bruh.
It's not productive. It's kind of gross and icky. And I feel like it tells us more about them than the people they're trying to degrade. They're always trying to degrade someone.
This is bullshit, Alado.
Bruh. So it's our job to help law enforcement.
Off is a fucking terrorist, a fucking pedophile, sympathizing fucking terrorist.
It was our job to help law enforcement.
It's not productive. It's kind of gross and icky.
Prof is a fucking terrorist.
It's not productive. It's kind of gross and icky.
Prof is a fucking terrorist.
It was our job to help law enforcement.
Bruh. This is bullshit, Alado.